Hello, dear friends, and welcome back to Neon Lights Roleplay. More specifically, I welcome you back to the sands of Zor'aa and our adventure, The Seven Sons, our 5e homebrew actual play live stream. I am your game maestro for the evening, young Foxxii, and I am joined by five devoted souls, brave adventurers who have brought themselves through the crucible and are now prepared to liberate the lands of Zor'aa. I'd like us to go around in the usual overlay order as I call you out. Tell the people of the chat who you are, where you can be found, who you're playing tonight, and the question: what's the fondest memory your character has of their caretaker, their parent, whoever raised them? Mako, as you are first, I'm warning you on that and letting you know whenever you're ready. Take it away.
Hey, what's up? I'm Lan the Dan. I play Mako Sky, the possessed floating suit of armor. As far as where I can be found, I have a Twitter at Lan the Dan, but that's not important right now. I'm also getting over a cold, so if I sound like shit today, that's why. But as far as Mako's favorite memory of his parents, that would probably be after I completed my first job on my own. It's the proudest I've ever seen them look, and also the most I've ever seen them spend on dinner that night.
Isn't that the best feeling? Like, if you really put in like a school assignment and like your parents are like, "Oh yeah, let's go to get dinner, like whatever you want," and you're like, "Ah." I'm actually gonna add a very small anecdote here. I'm sorry for derailing here, but the day I found out I got into Penn, actually, I was home. Actually, no, sorry, it wasn't Drexel. I found out I got into college I wanted to get into a lot. I was at home. It was at night. I found out, and my mom, who was on the porch, I ran out and told her, and she ran around the corner and without even asking me, got me a chicken finger platter from the corner store. It's just like one of my favorite it's like my go-to meal, and I was just like, I almost cried. Like I was so happy. It's a very fun story. But thank you for sharing that, and that's a very pleasant memory to have, Mako. Thank you. Moving right on along the way, I believe next, right across, is the ever-lovable Miss Tuan Quattle, who uses the he-him pronouns today.
E. Hey, I'm Michelle. I don't social media, playing Midstone Quaddle, our Quaddle Folk Wizard. Got it right
Nice.
this time.
Did it.
You done it right the last few times, actually.
You haven't gotten it wrong in a while.
It's
Yeah.
true, but I also have to pause
No
every
wizard
single
folk here.
Yeah,
time. Shut up.
only got one more opportunity.
Mits's fondest memories of their parents, I guess the one that comes to mind is probably just standing on the roof of a temple, their mom's temple, middle of a jungle, and just the whole family just telling stories.
Family gatherings are always a pleasant, well, not always, but when there is an air of love about the room, family gatherings are always a wonderful experience. And for those of you who had the pleasure of gathering with your families over the holiday, I hope it was a wonderful, lovely experience. If any of you here at the table or back there listening at home were not able to meet up with your families for whatever reason or chose not to, know that we here at Neon Lights are happy to be your family, and you will always have a spot at our table. We saved you a big plate with everything you like on it. Moving right along the way from that wholesome moment, we pass it on to, dare I say, the most wholesome member of the whole team. Lucian, take it away.
Oh no. Hi, I'm Lucian. I play our boy Ploy that likes to throw things.
You gotta throw things.
Our boy Ploy.
Our boy
Like that.
Ploy. To answer that question, Ploy's fondest memory is probably one of the simplest. It's just growing up, being woken up by Net, just to that smell of just like nice warm food cooking, and then getting up and going to the table and just eating together as a family in the mornings.
As we saw previously in the campaign, the lizard folk have some very, very unique bonding cultures around the feast, but the celebration of food and gathering around a fire is something that I think not just the lizard folk, but even us at home can all draw some connection to. And if you've never done it before, I encourage you. Gather all your friends, go somewhere safe, make a fire, have a good time. It's a good idea. Passing on from there, moving on to our dear brain cell, Zanari.
Imagine.
Our dear brain cell.
Our
Dearest
dear
brain
brain-
cell.
I think I'm gonna change my name to that. Anyway, hey everybody, it's me, Sir. No. Today I'm playing Z or Zanari, lovely Clash Culture Spirits Bard. And yeah, like thinking about her memories, you know, the only family she's really spent time with, her mom, and it's kind of simple, just because, you know, dad wasn't around, so it was, you know, just the two of them in the city growing up. Just kind of like those very quiet nights, like, you know, didn't really have to say anything, didn't really have to talk a lot. It's just, you know, enjoying each other's company and just kind of sitting in, yeah, very comfortable silence on quite a few nights, maybe just reading or something like that.
Last anecdote here, I promise I'll add before I let us keep moving on. The night before I moved out to the apartment I'm currently in, I slept in my mom's bed. It was a weird thing. Just I haven't done it since I was, I don't know, what, 5, maybe 7-ish. But as someone raised by a single parent, you come to enjoy those moments of quiet understanding when there's just peace and a mutual, I guess, just a mutual shared space, you know? And I find those moments myself very enjoyable and fun. So thank you for sharing those with us. And if there is nothing else, I believe that brings us to last, but absolutely anything but the least when it comes to this lovable crew. Tate, whenever you're ready.
Hello, Internet. My name is Tate Washburn. I play Wolf, the beast shifter barbarian, who just has the most werewolf boyfriend energy I can possibly give him. He just wants to be involved in whatever you're doing and is happy to be here. And I'm happy to be here. You can find me on Twitter mostly and on our Discord, which you should definitely join. As far as Wolf's fondest like family moment, I really think that like Wolf was very, very close with the whole town he grew up with. It's a very small town at the edge of a forest, and they kind of protect that forest as sort of a, I guess, like a heritage type thing of like, yeah, this is where we live. And it was probably be during like one of the many sort of festivals together when Wolf was fairly young, probably like the first thing he ever hunted, and he hunted with his sister Dirk, and he got to have a rare time of hunting even with his parents, who were always like kind of busy just patrolling that forest and keeping it safe. His mom Stride and his father Grim. And yeah, he managed to take down like a pretty big actual boar on his own. And shifters generally hunt with like melee weapons. They don't do none of this arrow shit. So it was him with a dagger wrestling a boar and then bringing it back and then not knowing how to cook it. So definitely his sister Dirk actually is the one who really cooked it. Just Wolf was there to help. And you know, the whole town being like, hey, this was really good for this festival. This tasted great. And him getting to tell the story as like, he's probably like 13 or 14, so pretty young and kind of like scrawny still. And everybody being like, hey, that's really impressive. Good for you.
The passing of the torch.
I also like to imagine that I also like to imagine when he shifted back then, because he couldn't really grow a beard, it was like he just suddenly had a bunch of really patchy, like teenager facial hair every time he shifted. It didn't look great.
I find that very funny. The passing of the torch, as I was saying, is something that I think anyone can draw a connection to. At some point in our life, someone, a mentor, parental figure, someone has said to us, you know, it's your time, it's your moment, you know, step into this on your own. And I think that's something that is beautiful, it's blissful. I'm very glad to have had it shared here. If there's nothing else, as mentioned before, I am young Foxxii. I will be playing anyone that's not these 5 incredible people. And as I've discussed with my players, but haven't discussed with you all, I'll start with a recap, and then we'll dive right back into our session. Sorry for the very long intro. Last session saw our heroes preparing for their final siege on the tower. The single most fortified location in all of Zor'aa, a massive super prison wherein Kali holds her forces, and where a gem of unimaginable power is resting. Several steps were taken, including armoring the bloat whales, rallying the troops, and preparing themselves. Deep conversations were had with other friends and loved ones to prepare themselves for, well, just the eve of battle. Apologies as I didn't notice, as we just got rated with 20 viewers. Hello, Crit Drinking. Holy crap. Hi, guys.
Oh,
Hi.
20 people.
Wow.
I hate to break character in the middle of the rant, but hi, everybody. Oh, my God.
People.
How you
Hey,
doing?
you
Welcome
came
to
for
Neon
the-
Lights Roleplay. Holy crap. We're
You
so
came
glad
for
to have
the
you
second
all.
last episode, so sorry if you're lost.
Oh,
but
listen,
it'll be
we're
great.
making
this time.
We'll make it a great one for you. Don't worry. All right, oh boy, I gotta try now.
The correct response is welcome to the chat room.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, actually.
Welcome to the chat room.
Honestly, just before they started commenting after the raid, I got another welcome to the chat.
There it is.
It's
There
still
you
sending
go.
them
Well,
to
thank
me.
you all for
I
popping
don't
in.
understand.
Thank you all for popping
Thanks,
in. Thank you
guys.
for any follows or any other love given to us. I'm gonna carry on with my intro so we can get our players into their characters so we can get into roles. But know that I see any love given to us. We love and appreciate you all so very much. You're all amazing. As you all prepared your final preparations, readied yourselves for war, and rode out aboard Durga, your giant bloat whale airship, you saw yourselves riding the crests of an entire armada of similarly prepped bloat whales, each armored and armed with rows of cannons, as beneath you, the army of the Storm Children and all of your allies marches to war. I have two very quick things I'd like to do. Actually, one thing I'd like to do first before we dive in, and that scene is going to involve only one of us. So, Ploy, it's
Uh-oh.
a few days before the siege. Dinner's just been had. You've eaten full with Wolf and Joshua and Nakiue, the bros kind of having their bro table together as you all have done the past few days. And as you are, you're eating and resting, you start to feel, not really hot, just maybe a little anxious. You're thinking about a lot. And so if you don't mind me taking the agency from you, you step out for some air. Step out just to the mouth of the cave that is the Storm Children's base. The night air is crisp and cool against your skin. There are insects. As you are intimately tied to every beast in Zor'aa, you can feel their soul lights flickering in the distance as they buzz about. The wind rustles by your snout, carrying with it the embers of the dinner fire, the nestled crystalline smell of the dunes around, and all the other ambiences present in Zor'aa. You sit here alone for just a moment. Inhale, exhale, eyes closed. And you hear a voice from just beside you. A wonderful night, isn't it?
Yes,
Do you turn to look to face the voice?
I do, yeah.
It's not a woman I think you've seen before around the base. She's tall, but statuesque. A body like the perfect mortal form. She's humanoid in shape, like the humans you've seen about. But her skin is a hue of light blue, and her hair jet black, like the void of night. I am sorry for having not spoken to you before.
I know you?
Not quite. Let's say I'm a friend of a friend.
A friend of a... Maybe I do know you.
I received your anniversary gift, by the way. Or your wedding gift, by the way. It was very kind.
Ah, now I definitely know you. Well, you're welcome.
It's nice to finally meet you, Ploy.
It's nice to meet you too.
You don't seem uncomfortable in the presence of a god. Is this not your first time?
You know, I've just kind of accepted that in this journey, many things are gonna happen, and you just gotta roll with the punches, I guess.
Each of us has our lot, and I suppose rolling with the world is never a bad way to go about things. Nonetheless,
Comes
sorry.
It comes with the whole ranger thing, you know? You just kind of whatever happens happens and you deal with it.
A true man of the world. Nonetheless, I sense you are alone in your musings, and I did not mean to disturb you. There are turbulent things happening for you all in the future, yes?
Yes.
I've kept my eye on you all for a while. Not just my dear Zanari, but all of you. I would apologize for how little help I could afford you all for now. She smiles. A smile that, for the audience, if you were watching last episode, would look very familiar when she talks with Zanari. But I'm in a gift-giving mood. So, how about I simply make amends?
That would be more than appreciated.
She puts her hand behind her back, and it stays there. It really was a lovely gift. But I think you'll need this more than I will. And as she breaks her hand from behind her, even though there was nothing behind her, definitely not anything this big, there is a single javelin. It's not hefted with bone or wood or even metal. Its shaft is some material that is entirely onyx black. The head of it is a similar complete void black, though there is just this faint impression, points of light in it, like stars. And hanging off the edge where the head meets the haft are a few pitch black feathers.
Normally where I'm from, it's considered rude to take a gift back, but I'll consider it a loan.
You'll find it's not quite the same javelin.
Certainly doesn't look the same. And
None-
I'll grab the javelin and sort of put it away.
As you touch it, you feel it's cold. It's a chill. Not unlike your necrotic javelin you had earlier, but where that one kind of, that chill carried this sort of almost stench to it, this just feels like perfect stillness. A perfect, silent cold. It's not uncomfortable, but just enough to notice it in your extremities. And she says, I have seen much of what comes, though the end is no longer written in the fates. Nonetheless, I know a time will come where you will need this. When you feel it appropriate, heft it high, and I will do everything that I can.
I could do that.
If there is one other small thing I could ask, and I know it's rude of me to offer a gift and then ask for a favor, but if you'll oblige an almost dead goddess.
Sure.
Could you all keep her safe for me?
I will do my very best.
My powers are limited now. Bonding to Nakali has weakened me, fairly. I cannot watch over her in the same way I have. I ask you all do that in my stead.
I mean, that's what we're here for, right? Friends look after each other.
Are we friends, Ploy?
Yeah, you know, a friend of a friend and a friend, basically the same thing.
A simplistic outset on the world. I think I'll try it sometime.
Worth a shot, especially with the animals. That's how we all get along.
You know, I don't pay much mind to the lesser, not as, I believe the word you use is sentient, souls that enter my domain. For every 1,000 or so mortals that cross over a day, countless more beasts do so. But I notice them. You'll find that their souls are painted of myriad colors. Not much different than any of you. Just a thought I had.
Yeah. Most people don't realize that.
Blessed be the few who do. I will leave you to your night. Enjoy it.
Thanks. You too.
She turns and kind of walks off, just kind of into the night towards the dunes. It's not long before you kind of just aren't able to really make out her silhouette shape, and then she's just gone. So that's that, where I think I'll end that scene, obviously. Play as you now have the death-touched javelin, and we'll talk about what that does later, don't you worry.
All right.
So what I'm now going to do is open it up to all of you and say the following. As a flashback scene, before we cut to the present, we'll say it's anywhere between 3 days to the night before the siege is launched. You all take off on Durga towards the tower. If there is any individual moment you'd like to have happen here, any individual sort of scene or setting, thing you'd like to do with each other or anybody else, take the liberty to do so now. And we'll play that out accordingly. And try to keep this, as not brief, obviously, play out as you will, but just let me know.
Wolf has a thing he'd like to do if nobody has something right off the top of their head.
We'll start there.
Go for it.
And I'm assuming that, like, we're not the only ones flying out. If there's a bunch of these other armored sky whales, then other people. All right, so if there is not actively a party going on the night before they leave, then that is 100% what Wolf is going to try and start. But he also is going to, like, during whatever celebration just before, try and find Brika in particular.
Yeah, we'll say this.
If everyone's gloomy and kind of around the kitchen, Wolf is going to grab Z or whatever other, like, bardic person around, as much alcohol as he can find, and be like, hey! Why aren't we having a party? Like, he has no idea why that wouldn't be happening.
So, we'll say it's 2 nights before the siege. Everyone is kind of grimly settled in and thinking about the things that are to come. Some are resolved, others are, well, maybe just a bit more worried. Thus, dinner is a rather quiet scene. There are still people gathered around, but it's overall a rather, sorted affair, I'd say, overall. What changes to a degree as, the party sort of gathered around, wondering perhaps where Wolf is. When he storms in, Nakiawe in tow, each hefting 2 crates loaded with bottles of some kind of alcohol you really don't know and probably aren't going to ask. And Wolf just
Wolf doesn't know. He just said, "Has this alcoholic?"
Yeah.
Okay.
And Wolf just, hey! Why aren't we having a party? And everyone just kind of looks up, a little confused. And from behind Nakiawe's bulk, Nakali walks in, outside of her battle robes now, just kind of in a more sorted, dressed down affair. You do note that she's changed from the normal sort of white silk of her noble robes to a black and gold attire. You figure she's kind of just keeping with the theme. She does say, well, tradition does say that a great feast should be held on the eve of any great battle, and we have the time now, so... Hate to say it, but our third friend may be right. Secrets, can we not find some kind of music here? Secret says...
Did somebody say party whale? And you see Ploy put on, like, the most colorful pirate cap you've ever seen. And off in the distance you hear Durga, just the most, like, long, drawn-out sound, just
and so as you hear Durga let this long, low, droning whale song, you're all sitting here quietly, kind of like waiting to see if anyone will do anything. And then one random Sathani, you've never seen this guy before, just one of the many soldiers there, just hits the table, starts to set up and says, well, it's the whale's partying. And he reaches from like behind himself and he pulls up what looks to be like a small kind of like string-like instrument. Now that he has it in his hand, you recognize him as a guy who tends to kind of play this around now and then every dinner. In fact, there are a few individuals among the Storm Children who are, we'll say, musically inclined. And eventually, you know, people start trying to kind of sit around waiting for a bit, and then people start clapping and like making some noise. You know, like trying to like encourage them, like, come on, play something, come on, like we gotta have a party here. And then someone else stands up, and they have a couple of like pots and pans that they've inverted on the table, and are like just holding those, and are starting to kind of like hit a little sort of like a bit of a low bass to a bit. String plucks a few notes, and like it's slow, but eventually, as I find the sound, you'll have to give me a moment. It starts kind of picking up. And before you know it, there's a veritable party going on. Everyone around is gathering a drink. Wolf, those crates you have, they empty immediately. The people just run up and start grabbing bottles out of them, pouring them in the cups. Some people are just downing the bottles, but everyone is just having to kind of just like, almost kind of like purposefully shaking off the anxiety of like a war to come, and just trying to have a good time. A couple of them have like drawn their swords and are like fake dueling now. A couple of guys are like up on tables. One guy's like, I'm gonna kill 20 enemies tomorrow, you'll see. And one guy's like, yeah, well, I'll drop 50. And it's an absolute scene. And amidst this large party, the rest of you can all be doing whatever you feel is appropriate. But Wolf, as it's sort of your initial scene, I'll say you definitely notice, off to the one side, just sitting, minding her business, swaying a bit to the music, but kind of just nursing a drink. Brika's kind of just sat there. You can insight check if you want to like get her a vibe on how she's feeling before you approach, or you can just approach. Your call.
I will insight.
What you got for me?
I rolled 2 1s, motherfucker.
Wait,
Oh,
Get
God.
him out now!
Going on.
starting
Things are off to a
strong.
fantastic start.
Get him out now. She looks outwardly like she's just kind of chilling. She's not doesn't look outwardly upset or angry or sad or anything. Just kind of vegging.
Just chilling.
Swaying. Someone comes by and like, you know, like says something to her and she kind of like says something back. You know, you can't really hear her from too far away. But she just seems kind of like, you know, pass them off a little bit. Go back to her drink, take a sip, hold it in both hands, sway some more to the music.
Yeah, Wolf would probably take a drink. You know, he's sort of greeting people and having a fun time on his way through the party, but when he gets the wall, lean his back up against it pretty heavily, just thump, and then... Hello, friend?
Wolf, hi. Are you enjoying the party?
Of course. You have to make merry before a battle. Remind yourself why you need to survive it.
Your logic is sound as always, friend.
Huh. Of course. And Wolf would get a little serious, and it's... I hope you realize... I know that we brought you here, and it was partially for your safety, and partially because you want to, but... You've already lost a lot. I want to make sure this is something you're doing for you. Joining us in this battle.
She takes a moment, locking eyes with you, saying nothing, before she cuts down to eye her drink, stares into it, looking at her own reflection for a bit. There was a moment in the tomb I first met you all in, after Tamil. You all, we were just your guides. You could have walked away from any of us then and there. But you took care to not only ensure that I escaped, but you took the time to offer my brother something that not many in this desert get. A proper send-off to the afterlife. I owe you all so very much for that. If fighting at your side is how I repay that debt, I would face 1,000 sieges with you. She looks back up at you.
You know, we've had adventures before this, none this grand. And nothing is harder to deal with than someone who endangers themselves because they feel like they owe it to someone else. That's a fine reason to go to war, I guess. But you and your brother deserved that humanity without needing to earn it. There's no paying back that's necessary. If you feel the need to help us and your people remove this danger, we will take it gladly. But don't think for a second that you didn't deserve that kindness simply for being here and alive. And Wolf would smirk a little and it's like, besides, I've got this, right? Takes a great big drink.
She similarly just kind of sips her drink once. And then again, she says,
Mm-hmm.
There it is. That kindness you all have. It's exactly what obliges me to want to fight by your side. She reaches a hand up and kind of not very long, but just briefly runs it down the side of your face. It's a
Oh. Well, thank you. I think the world would be a better place if more people tried to be kind.
My brother thought similarly.
Wolf would then take his cup and toot a mill.
To all the ones who aren't fighting beside us tomorrow.
Yeah, Wolf is gonna down the rest of that drink then.
Yeah, she takes a nice, real good long drink of hers and then puts the cup, now empty, down. Do you want to dance?
Absolutely. Let's dance.
She just shakes her head and just gets up. Yeah, and she'll kind of just not as shy anymore. Definitely, just leads you out onto the floor, and there's a nice open space. Actually, as the two of you come in, definitely recognizing you, Wolf, as sort of one of the kind of figures here. They definitely create a space for you two to kind of just and the rest of you around would notice the kind of the music and the cheer and whooping all pick up a bit more as in the middle of this party, Wolf and Brika are just dancing, enjoying themselves.
Wolf is not an elegant dancer, but he is an enthusiastic one.
Oh, don't worry, Brika leads.
Yeah.
I love to see it. So good.
Anyways, that's all I
Yeah,
think Wolf wanted.
I think at some point during this party, Z is going to start telling the story of the night before another battle that she's heard about. There was this similar drinking and dancing and music and just general revelry before this platoon fought these just horrible carapace creatures that were plaguing a town, and how the very next day they were able to bring down not only just an entire wall crushing a bunch of these creatures, but just a large titan of the same kind controlling all of them. They're able to outwit it and be able to take it down. And then, going between the revelry to kind of the excitement of the battle to kind of going into the denouement of the story, just kind of the sadness, but also trying to think of the word, just kind of respect for sacrifice and some of the platoon being left behind, but others still making it out from the battle. continuing to tell the story, like the source of the story that she heard.
Mm-hmm. So you're weaving this tale to. Is there anyone in particular you try to tell to, or just to
Whoever's listening.
So yeah, you find a small little group of soldiers who are just like sharing war stories and talking about battles they fought and times they ambush, Emir caravans and all these things. And you walk over to them and start sharing this tale, and they listen raptly because they respect you a lot as again another figure of like legend and respect here. And as you're kind of ending on this tale, telling them of like the idea of sacrifice, the idea that even though like they're gonna face great valor tomorrow, but also in some cases possibly great loss. And as you end on that idea of loss, you look around you and find that there is just a veritable crowd gathered around you that's just sitting, listening raptly to the end of your tale. And they all just nod solemnly, understanding. Not so much dropping the mood, they're all still enjoying, the party, but they all just give some reverent nods and understanding of just the reality that some of them might not make it home tomorrow, But they all seem, as you look at them, it's not even hard to tell. I want to make you roll for this, as you're used to kind of taking in crowd reactions to your stories. Some of them who definitely were masking that anxiety or fear or concern feel, if not relieved, more resolved. Just that, yeah, I might die tomorrow. I might not make it out of this, but I'm dying for something, Like, no matter what happens, even if we all die, even if we don't make it, we're all dying for something, And that air kind of just passes around the room and everyone is resolved. You see soldiers who clearly have been fighting together for a long time hoist drinks and lock arms and take long drinks together. Others, pound their chests or butt heads and other sorts of small, squad-like or platoon-like rituals of just like sharing camaraderie and preparing themselves, knowing that, in just a few nights' time, they will face the hardest challenge they have ever faced. And it's just as that happens that the crowd turns from cheering to some whispered muttering. It's faint at first, but then you start hearing it, all of you. Just is that? No, there's no way. How could he? Wait, but it's hard to tell what's happening at first, but it's building into a loud chatter. And then you start to see figures parting from one entrance to the massive dining hall. And it's not hard to look as you see the crowd part. It's all parting towards Nikali, and you all, I'm going to say, are probably not far from where she is, so you're all also sort of where the crowd is parting towards. But as the crowd parts fully, walking directly towards Nikali is Rabash and Torvali. He looks about the same as you remember him, save a few new scars, a bandage firmly wrapped around one eye, and his left arm missing. The air goes quiet as he walks in, naught but the roar of the fire, the occasional light muttering here or there. He stands in front of Nikali, and again, by proxy, you all, quiet, as if waiting.
Wolf isn't going to interrupt, but he's definitely going to stand in the crowd close enough that if something starts, he can stop it very quickly. But he doesn't feel like this is his place to interrupt.
I think Mitz was over with Starlight, just showing him various like illusion spells and just messing around with like Starlight. So they're kind of just like in their own little bubble.
Doing their own thing. Just two
Yeah.
nerds nerding. He does finally speak up. The vaunted priestess and her storm children. I have heard much. Nikali says, I'd give you credit for finding us here, but Something tells me you are resourceful. He smiles. Let's just say I'm hard to keep down. And I know how to play my corners. Joshua, at this point, has taken his sort of walked out of the crowd and now stands next to Nikali. I'd say, let's go ahead and say, Zanari. I was gonna say you are the closest to Joshua, and you would notice that his hand is right, sort of like at his side, but it's clenched in a fist, like he's just waiting. Why are you here? He says, simply. Urash replies, that remains to be seen. Where are your heroes? The champions we fought before. Bring them.
Wolfwood. I doubt you're in the position to make many demands here.
Then consider it a request.
I step out. Sure.
He offers you a slight incline of the head.
Mitzel pause his conversation with Starlight and step next to Z, actually.
Anybody else?
Mako steps out from the sidelines of the dance floor where he was hanging out.
Wolf shows up, still wearing that colorful hat. It's like, did somebody call? It's now no longer sitting straight on his head and is now like askew.
And Wolf?
No, Wolf's there.
Oh, fair enough.
He already stepped forward. When he
Wolf's
answered
just
him.
cross-armed, standing there.
Oh, well, as soon as he showed up, he
Ah,
just...
yes, very serious.
He just says, I've spent many nights pondering the fate of you five. Since our first meeting, I have noticed something like destiny around you all. It's intrigued me. I believe things to be simple here in Zor'aa once. I followed my orders, did as my lord intended without violating my own code. Things are different now. He looks towards his own arm, or the one that's no longer there. Much different. And so, to answer your question, Joshua Alkami, why I am here will become evident to all of us, including me, after these five answer one question. And I need them to answer it, not you, priestess. Nikali just quirks an eyebrow. Rabash turns and looks to all of you. When Kali is gone, what will you do with Zor'aa?
We were going to leave it to your people to decide. At least I was. I have family and lands at home that will want to know what I've done.
Turn our world to turmoil and then leave it for us to pick up.
Friend, you were already in turmoil. You simply were on the top of the pile instead of the bottom.
Suppose you're not wrong about that. And the rest of you, were your thoughts all similar? Simply leaving here when you're done?
Well, now that I have some ties here. Z kind of meaningfully looks over to not knowingly.
Everyone give each other the look.
I don't think I'll leave, but also it shouldn't be up to me what position I take in helping this. Again, I'm perfectly happy to help, but again, it should be up to the people how that's done.
It's a fair answer. Deposing of tyrants always brings a power vacuum. Such stability is not often found easily after a regime changes. You all certainly know that now. A follow-up question, if you'll oblige me.
Perhaps.
Have you considered the possibility that things get worse with her gone?
Yeah,
You realize her plan is to let loose world-ending monsters and harness them, right?
Yes, and while Kali is absolutely a madwoman, she represents the current center point of power in all of Zor'aa. When I say her, I don't mean her. I mean what she is. With her gone, Zor'aa will lack a figurehead. The city-states will stand for as long as they have to. Petty tyrants, warlords, and bandit chieftains will scramble for whatever power they can. But in the end, none of us can say what becomes of this place afterwards. In all of your quests to end gods, all of your talk of liberation, of deposing slavers, have you considered what comes of the people you leave behind?
I mean, yes, that's what the scary part is. I don't think I can give you a straight answer of what it's going to mean and what anyone is going to do. Even with partial divinity, I don't have all of the answers. But what I do know is that the current system isn't working, obviously. So there has to be some type of change, some type of meaningful change to be made in order to make it better.
So you wouldn't install a new single rule then? You seek change.
Let's see change.
I don't think that us as people from far away have a right to tell you all what you do afterwards. I have faith in the Storm Children. They're moving in the right direction. Otherwise, I would have helped you.
I have 400 levies under my command, 117 of my personal Torvali soldiers who are available to me at my beck and call, a guild of small assassins who can engage in small raiding assignments, and additionally, enough Hashari firearms to feed at least 3 regiments stored away in a safe house separate from Wadal. Those resources are now yours. I, however, am not.
What will you do?
Leave. I am done with all of this. The king making and backstabbing. I have seen enough to last several monks' lifetimes. And I left behind my monk's creed a very long time ago. But he looks over at 2 people in particular amongst the group. I see there are others who have taken up the path. And that gives me hope.
You could come back. Temple always needs guards. Somebody to teach the newer people.
I have strayed too far from my beliefs. I am no longer the man I was when I took the oath. I no longer know who I am. I will leave this place. I will spend my days discovering who I have become. What happens then? Only the fates can say.
Assuming the fates are still around.
What's a pretty complicated conversation to have. Anyways.
Regardless, I leave my forces in your command. May they be useful to whatever you do next. You have all chosen the path of revolution, the path of change. You all are creating history. I hope you understand that.
We just came to explore a tomb.
That reminds me of the basilisk. Remember that? We didn't plan on fighting a basilisk.
Well,
Plan
At least-
B.
at least.
What are we on? Plan F now? Plan W? I don't know.
Good
I'm
question.
not keeping track.
Nobody got turned into stone yet.
I will take my leave of this place now. I know not where the winds will take me, but it will not be in Zor'aa.
You have supplies?
I will be fine. Your concern is appreciated.
If you find yourself in the far northern lands, you can always find me.
I will reach out should I find myself roaming those places.
Bring a coat.
Or if
You're
you
not
ever
remotely
find
dressed enough.
yourself desiring work as a tomb delver, I'm sure your skills will be much appreciated.
He quirks an eyebrow. Perhaps. I certainly have heard tale of a rather budding group of tomb delvers who will, at the end of all this, no doubt have a reputation, and mayhap be seeking new employ. We'll see.
You could be the trap gopher.
If you ever
Let
need
them walk
someone
out
to
in
put
front
in a
of us.
good word, you know where to find us.
Until I pass across again, then.
Hope you find your peace.
Peace is not a thing to find. It is a goal to seek.
A separate peace, perhaps.
Wise words.
Be well, all of you. And he turns and begins to walk from the chamber. And priestess, if I might offer personal advice. From a man who knew the kind of love you'd give everything for, only to lose it. Don't be so frivolous, he says without turning around. He walks from the chamber, saying nothing else, and the four Torvali just kind of stand there.
Wolf grabs 4 drinks and hands it to them and be like, well, it's a party.
I'm in the party.
You're a storm child now.
Um,
And just clap shoulders with 2 of them. Just don't bring down the mood. For tomorrow we will be the storm that wipes them from the face of this land.
The two you clap
It's
shoulders
like-
with? Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, Mitz is gonna
Yeah.
just as you say that, Wolf is just gonna when you say the storm, it's just illusion of thunderclouds just breaking.
Storm.
What? See, I was
Dramatic.
thinking a sandstorm. But this one,
It's both. It's a metaphor. In any case, the two you are clasping shoulders with Wolf kind of just look between you and the two of them, kind of awkwardly, until the soldier who had the string instrument kind of just worms his way up between them, and plucks a note or two, and then the whole band picks it back up eventually, and they just kind of start moving themselves back and forth for a bit, and everyone's having a great goddamn time. And so, as a bit of a change from the plan, I'm gonna say we can have ourselves one last little scene here. That is you all. It is officially the night of the siege. In just a few hours, after you get some rest, you all will be loading up on Durga and taking off. You will be heading out. That's it. It's the time. Unlike the party, it's a quiet night. A gentle, slow, patient one. Most are resting or offering prayers, talking to comrades, holding lovers. You all find yourselves around a slow bonfire, the night waning out, and perhaps for the last time before you all take yourselves into the fray of war, you have a moment amongst just the five of you. As I love to say, my darlings, the scene is yours.
If this isn't our sleeping like area, Wolf just has like put his blanket down and curled up like the very dog-like way he does in the middle. But he's just like laying down, just looking up. He's just chilling. You're like, yeah, that was. This has been a lot. And it's made me think about what we're gonna
Tell
do
me about it.
afterwards.
Herbal tea,
I-
anyone?
Wolf doesn't take any.
None for me either.
I have to say, I wasn't putting on airs. I do think I need to head home after this, actually. I left home trying to find what this prophecy is, and given how we can only hope things go tomorrow, it'll be done. I need to at least let someone know.
Yeah, that's fair. Sounds like we've
I hate to
all
leave you.
built or broken ties over the course of this journey, so
I mean, it's not like we can't still talk.
This is true.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you must use regular mail. I don't have many gifts that the rest of you have.
Take a shell phone. I could probably get more.
We do have the shell phones.
Yeah, just get a bunch of shell phones.
Could always
Get 'em
convince
made. There you
Temmin to
go.
make more for us.
yeah.
If I may, though, there's something that's been weighing on me,
Hmm.
and it concerns our two gods to be here. Should you join the rest of their pantheon, what will you do?
You know, I have absolutely no idea.
Same.
God stuff.
I mean, how much of like a god's aspect actually affects what they do, anyways?
I mean, I feel like a fair bit considering they have all these rules and everything, which
Yeah,
is
they can't even step
kind
into
of
the mortal plane.
yeah, terrifying.
Well, I mean, once in a while, but like, you know.
Well,
As
once
you
I
know, I
finish.
had an encounter recently with one of the gods to team. And how do I put this? What he said pissed me off. The fact that the gods use human lives as their, not even as their playthings, their game pieces. All of our pain and suffering and joy and triumph and everything that happens to us, to them, is some kind of game. I'm in here because of their game. I'm stuck in this suit. All this talk of fate and destiny, all of it comes down to just some whim of the gods to cure their boredom. What kind of
Yeah, and they get
what justice is there in that?
True. Apparently, they throw giant temper tantrums too when you mess with their game too much, too.
So, I made a bet with Tatine. Our success versus Kali's success. And if this goes our way, he promised that, well, people would be free to live their lives without interference for the pleasure of the gods. So that's what I have riding on this. That's what I have riding on our mission. So
But
I have a
for
request
Kali's
for the two of
success.
you. But I have a request for the two of you.
Hmm.
When we succeed, and after you have ascended, I need you to hold him to that. I don't want anyone else to go through what I've had to go through because it gives the gods a few moments of diversion. Let the people of this world be free to live their lives and make their own decisions. Do you think you can promise me that?
I mean, considering that was the plan, at least for me to be done with.
Works for me. Wonder if we can change the rules on them.
Gods who say they can control all of reality, I think, are lying anyways.
It's like,
Yes, that may be true.
I mean,
My choice is my choice.
yeah.
Doesn't matter if a god thinks he made me do it, I still chose it because I thought that was the right thing to do. That's all we ever do. Unless they're going down and possessing people, I don't think that they really are in control as much.
No.
They're just very good at presenting
They
the
just
right
marry
situation.
I mean, I think what Mitz is gonna do is like kind of pull at the fabric of reality and just like try to show a little bit of like the magic matrix that makes up the world. Just a little bit. Be like, yeah, they can mess with this.
Mitz pulls their hand down to sort of reveal just like this intercrossing network of lines and circles and symbols that don't make any sense to any of the rest of you, but they are this incredibly intricate line that the more you look at it, the less sense it makes as the lines seem to cross not only three-dimensionally, but almost fourth and fifth dimensionally. They turn in ways you don't think things should be able to turn.
So I guess you could call it the fabric of reality. But like,
Gonna be honest, Mitz. That just looks like a bunch of fancy lights. I don't.
so yeah, but
Yes,
you know,
beyond me as well.
Should have brought that to the party yesterday.
that would have been a great. I could have
Hell of
shown
a part-
Starlight. Why didn't you?
Hell of a party
Think of all
trick.
the great
Here's
garments
the
you could
fabric
make
of
out of the
reality.
fabric of reality.
Oh no.
That's also a good point. Should people and gods really be messing with the fabric of reality? Actually, you know what? Maybe I should not do that. Can I?
Erase my friend's memory so they never see it. No, don't.
Anyways. Now I think about it. What if I can write into a rule of non-interference in this?
I have faith that you can do whatever you set your mind to. That's. Sorry, Dan. The fabric of reality.
Really deep.
Reality.
Well,
Fabric that makes you really
Real
good at selling houses.
Yeah, exactly. Free real estate.
That's the real
That's
power.
what we're gonna base
The
our
best
system on.
fabric.
yeah,
Yes.
that's how it works. Fabric of real estate.
Free real estate.
It's that's just ley lines actually. That's just ley line magic.
All right, okay,
But-
all right, enough.
Why do you think they always sign the contracts on the dinner table?
In any case, I'll say, unless there's anything else you guys want to say, the night wanes on. It's a few hours. I guess I'll ask you very quickly, one at a time. Do you sleep the night before?
Nope.
Oh yeah, like a rock.
Yeah.
Makeup, no. Well,
Ploy, Mitz?
If Z's sleeping, then yes, I think Mitz would like to, I guess, meditate with them, but that can be like 2 hours. So just like
Yeah. We can say that there's definitely a moment you two do that before you all head out. You wake up a couple hours early and take care of that before you all head out. And I guess, Ploy, are you sleeping tonight?
Yeah, just
You settle yourselves into your resting spots for the evening. Close your eyes, knowing that in just a few hours' time you will face perhaps the most pitched battle you have ever faced as adventurers. As the night comes to an end, the next morning sees you board Durga. And let's actually go ahead and just cut right back to the present. You are all aboard your dear bloat whale Durga, riding at the apex of a formation, an armada of bloat whales, moving on your way towards your destination. It's a tense scene. There's not much save for the occasional chatter of individual sailors and pirates keeping tabs on the rigging and the fortifications, loading the cannons, checking the ammunition, things like that. Just small things to make sure that everything is prepared. People genuinely readying themselves for what seems like it's going to be, a genuine combat. Off in the distance, you can hear a few gulls caw in the high air above you. The clouds peer to your left and right, occasionally obscuring you just a bit here or there. And as you start to ready yourselves, you see the first mate, the Janaka pirate who you've been working with since you got Durga, step into the study where you're all currently waiting in. Eyes on target, Captain. You all want to come see?
yeah, Wolf will go. Yeah, sure.
I will, yeah.
hold on. None of you's the captain.
You didn't answer, man.
Since when are you all?
it was
I'm
a
the
plural.
captain. Alright,
We're all
anyway, you guys can all come
requesting
too.
Kate
Let's
Conley.
go.
You
Let's
can
go
come
see.
see too.
Captain, big dramatic bow. Excuse me, Captain.
See, that's the kind of respect
Looking
I
that
was
way.
looking for. All right, let's go.
You all step out onto the upper deck, sort of the perch at the front of the cabin that makes up Durga's crew bunk. Out against the low end high rolling dunes, amidst the peaks and crests, just resting at the apex or at the nest of some foothills, you see a large hexagonal structure that stretches up maybe 3 or 4 stories, and then compacted in on that, a smaller rectangular tower, that stretches high off into the heavens. The apex of it is honestly low enough that it's maybe only 30 or so feet below Durga's belly. It's very high into the air. And as you all come up to the balcony to get a look here, Nikali, who was aboard Durga, is already there. Actually, I'm sorry, I completely retake that. She's not on board Durga. She's on board the airship to the next to you all. As you all look over, another bloat whale is kind of coming up into formation
Durga.
beside Durga. Ha ha ha. And Nikali is also in a similar position to where you all are. The distance is great, but you can see her clearly, as she has one foot up on kind of the arch and is looking down at the tower. Her face solemn and focused. Next to her, standing, not kneeling, or not kind of leaning over, is Joshua, arms crossed, just watching out. They chatter back and forth a bit, but it's low and you can't hear it from this far. The wind eats that distance. Slash off. But as you are watching this, you see the tower approaching. you all know it's just about that time. You all take a moment to look, see your target in front of you, and just as you're thinking that it's just about time to get ready, the first cannons fire. A bloat whale 3 or so rows in the formation down from you lets off with a broadside barrage of cannons that peels off to the side, 6 individual barrel holes on the side, blasting out with bright red and bright
Mako
red
has
flare
an
and smoke.
idea.
Mako has an idea. Go.
Mako has an idea. How far out are we from the tower?
I'd
From the
say
wall of the tower?
about maybe 800-ish meters, maybe a bit less, 700-ish, 750. Closing rapidly, though.
Okay, never mind. Never mind Mako's idea.
Well,
Because I have to be within 120 feet for the idea to work.
well, then we'll hold on to it. In either case,
If you mention that, we'll say, I don't think I can throw you far enough to get you close. Sorry, man.
And I can't fly that far either. In the time we have.
No.
you're all looking as down below you, rows and rows and columns of soldiers that you can't make out from this height begin to fan out into large blocks of infantry. The front ranks of them you can see lower themselves into formation as just in the distance at the top of the tower you can hear and see, you can see individuals running and filing themselves out, cannon fire peppering it and lancing itself down against the walls as they run themselves up to take fortifications, to man siege equipment, to handle anything they can. Others with weapons in hand take positions on the wall, and it's not long before the chaos and noise of battle begins to erupt all around you all. And as you are watching, all around, down beneath you, as explosions rack the walls and the ground, dust and sand and bodies and blood kicked up in huge caking heaps as soldiers fight and die. You all are aboard Durga as she makes a large bleeding sound, and Ploy, in your head you hear, making my approach. Nakali nods her head once. Joshua draws his hand up. His blades swirl in a circle around him. He draws his hand down, shouting, and all of the rows of cannons on all of the bloat whale ships begin to full-assade the walls. Cannon fire blooms and barrages against the wall, against the sides of the tower fortifications as men die in droves, and all beneath you, a war rages. If you don't mind, I'd like to quickly cut to a small scene. The sand and dirt make it almost impossible to make out anything. Atema coughs once, twice, to clear caked grit from his throat, shakes his head, holds a firm grip on the awkward equipment in his hand. The handholds are strange for a Sathani, but he does his best to hold his clawed hand against the trigger of the Ashari firearm. As he shakes his head to clear, a hand thwacks in the back of his head once. Head up, kid! You don't want to die out here, do you? He looks up. His older brother, Dorema, is there, smiling at him. Come on, we're about to fire. Atema lowers his gun, taking position in a firm rank, squatting down below his brother, who is just above him, in a second rank, gun ready. Do you think we'll die here? He says. Dorema smirks. Probably. But what a tale it will be, huh? And with it, and as their sergeant waves down his sword, they all fire in a row. And we'll cut back to you guys now, as Durga is slowly beginning to descend into an attack run. You can hear cannons going off in the distance, booming and blaring. And you all now effectively have freedom to do whatever you want. The cannonry, the gunnery deck is just below you. They've modified Durga's cabin to include sort of a secondary gunnery deck just beneath you all. You can easily make your way there if you'd like to help out. You can also stay on the deck, coordinate troops, do whatever you feel like would be appropriate for you to do in this time, as all around you, all the crewmen are just clipped motions, shouting commands, moving from place to place, some taking to flight to move from station to station, manning the cannons, loading rounds, moving equipment. Others are preparing themselves like a boarding party or like a landing party, gearing themselves up with equipment. And you all are effectively in the midst of this fray as all around you the battle rages.
So, did we want to try and climb up from the bottom or land on the top?
I'm a fan of the top, personally.
Yeah, isn't that where closer?
We don't know if that's going to be exactly where the crystal is or exactly the opposite side of where the crystal is, so
That's okay. I mean, it's closer to. Well, I mean, like just the top itself is closer to us, or
yeah.
Let's go into the
why
top.
not? We just walk exactly those sounds.
Mako, there's a warm feeling in your chest right now.
Hold on. I pull out the shell phone.
Pulling out the old shell phone.
I was like, oh, like I think we forgot the Tums. Sorry.
The face in the shell manifests in a haze of water, and it's Nakali. The attack has begun. We're hitting the walls as hard as we can. Remember, this is diversionary. Your goal is to get inside, let loose whatever you can to free the prisoners, and then find that crystal. What's your plan for approach?
We're on our way now. Heading
They
to
can
the
drop
top of the
in
tower.
just casually, you know.
I mean, hey, Featherfall is a thing.
You have to be careful.
Hey,
was your
winged
idea,
boots are also
Maka?
a thing.
Oh, sorry.
I can fly. That's my idea.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to be careful. They're turning at least some of those siege guns up to aim at our blow whales. We're doing what we can to put up a curtain of fire to keep them from putting up any effective anti-air screen, but it's not going to be permanent. If you're making your approach, we can't divert too much fire to keep that high up, to keep that high angle, covered. You're running a risk.
Yes, but if we're up there, we can break all those cannons so they don't get used anymore.
But that's also fair. All right, we'll keep up our head here. You all do what you can. Good luck. The call cuts out. You see cannon fire. You see from the wall of the tower, as you're now slowly approaching, a rack of ballistae-like weapons angle themselves up again to fire large, thick, several-foot-long javelins into the air, up arcing towards the bloat whales. A good chunk of them miss, as these are not trained to traditionally fire on air-based targets. One, however, does catch directly into the cabin of a bloat whale about 2 or 3 down the row from you. The bloat whale itself just grunts a bit of frustration and realigns its thing. You wager it didn't get hit, but it went straight into the cabin, and you are absolutely certain there couldn't have been no casualties. Other ballistae are aimed down towards the ground and are just racking rows and rows of Storm Children soldiers with these javelins, killing 2 or 3 men per shot. It's a veritable bloodbath, but you can see slowly in advancing lines, firing and advancing. Storm Children are slowly making their approach, and more rows and units of soldiers with these muskets and firearms are bringing their weapons to bear.
This is not something Wolf would be able to do, but I, Tate, am suggesting one of the characters with good intelligence do this. Could we, guesstimate the highest point that these things could fire at, these ballista? Could someone roll for that? Wolf isn't smart enough to think of this.
I will allow,
Intelligence.
I'll allow, I don't know what skill this would be, but I'll allow an intelligence check.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd let me do perception, Wolf would try and do perception or survival, but he's just not smart
I'll
at anything.
take perception. Go ahead, Wolf.
Okay.
I'll let Wolf roll first, and if he asks.
Not ones. Well, that's a 9.
Fair?
I think,
That's maybe high enough for him to have that idea, is we can fall as far as we want in Featherfall, and they only go so high. And then you turn to him, it's, hey, do you know how high they can fire? I have no idea, but if we can get above that, fall?
16?
Mitz, you are watching Wolf watch the arc of these ballistae, and you're not necessarily super skilled in the art of warfare, but you get a rough sense of a zone you could probably fly to not necessarily be out of range, but definitely you can get a sense of how high you could fly to where like the screen of fire wouldn't pull off, like would pull off and not be as intense. It would lower the chances of you guys getting hit. Any higher than that, and you risk losing sight of your target.
One question. How high up is that?
Say probably 13 to 15-ish stories, whatever height Mitz would reference that as. So it's high.
Okay, I was wondering if it's like more than 120 feet because.
Yes.
Got it. All right, so like Mitz is just gonna relay that to Wolf and be like, it's like 13 to 15 like tower stories ish. Any higher and we'll miss the we'll miss our target probably.
Well, that would be the only plan I have is jump.
I can jump.
So, I mean, Mitz is like, Wall of Force, anyone?
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, I like that.
Confused. Explain.
It's like, well, I can summon a Wall of Force, and I mean, it's a plane. I can just put it beneath us, and we can just lower the wall.
Or you can make a slide.
Oh, can you?
I was thinking a slide.
A slide would work too.
Slide.
Slide is also
That'd
a
be
plan.
fun. I
Like,
actually really
maybe-
like that.
Like, it's like we could also like, I guess, enclose us in a bubble and just cannonball our way down.
Well, doesn't the wall like stay like stagnant though? Isn't that
Yes.
the point?
Yeah, it doesn't
does- it- yeah, it
move,
stays
right?
Okay.
That's
So
true.
is
But
so,
definitely prepare that wall as a
So
slide in
slide
case we're
would
about
be
to
the way
miss.
to go.
so the plan is go up to that screen of fire, where
Have
it
a
lowers,
feather fall
move
ready.
above it, and then either feather fall or slide down is the plan.
I'd say we jump to Featherfall, but if we're about to miss Wall of Force, a slide. Heck, maybe prepare Wall of Force for the first round of fire anyways. Because they might try and shoot us as we
Fair.
fall.
As you
I like it.
Ploy, do you relay this information to either the first mate or Durga?
Yeah, I'll relay that to Durga.
How so?
Hey, Durga.
Yes, Ploy.
Hey.
Eee.
Let's do the thing. It's time for the thing.
Well, you have been planning for this for a while. All right. And you'll just see her kind of bleat a bit, a nice low droning whale song, as she just flaps her flippers once, and you'll see her just kind of blow up her air sacs a bit more, and begin to rise up a bit above the curtain of fire and above the armada. As you're seeing you all peel away from the armada, true to form, Wolf, like you said, a couple of the ballista do notice that one bloat whale ship peeling away from the formation, and start to angle and focus more on you. Mitz, do you cast Wall of Force?
I think, can Mitz do like an estimate on how far, like, basically like using some like math calculations based on like what they've seen so far, right? Like, how long would they have before it would possibly even reach Durga or them?
The fire?
Yes.
About 8 seconds.
Because about 8 seconds?
Yeah, the ones that were aiming at you are about to fire at you. Travel time takes about 8 seconds before they reach their apex, and then they come down.
8 seconds before they reach the apex, and we're outside of the range currently.
Just about. You're moving into a
We're
rapid
still
wheel.
Okay, so we're moving towards it. We're going to jump soon.
You're gonna jump once you're over the tower. You're about, I'm gonna say, maybe 300 or so meters from the wall. Closing rapidly, though.
Got it. Okay, so at 4 seconds, Mitz is going to put up a wall of force.
Ballista arc up towards you. A couple of them aiming directly for Durga's bulk. Mitz, you throw your hand out, and this invisible kind of shimmer hazes the air around you all. As those ballista rounds just clash into it and snap and begin to fall down to the ground. The wall, however, unfortunately,
Get booked.
can't move, so Durga flies around it and continues to move towards the round. They're reloading, so you have plenty of time as you're moving up. And I'm gonna say, as you're watching, because the first mate now knows your plan, he's kind of coordinating you guys and says, drop in 5, 4, 3,
Wolf grabs Mitz and Z.
2, and as one approaches, I'm gonna need 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll go backwards. Mitz, roll me a d20.
Oh boy.
No pressure.
9.
9's not that great. Not gonna lie to you. Oh boy. So, barely. So as you're flying around, as Durga flies around, you're on your way. As you say 1, the whole of Durga shakes a bit, just rumbles a little, and you hear a bleeding whale song that Ploy you would immediately recognize as pain. As you look down, in one of her lower air sacs, there's a javelin round, a ballista round, straight into Durga's side. It's not profusely bleeding, but she's losing air. She says, I am sorry, she enters into your mind, her voice sounding strained. I can't maintain my lift.
It's okay, Durga. Go back. You've done enough for us now.
I mean, if we're in position to jump, then yeah,
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
get down there and
you're
prevent her
at
from getting
one.
shot.
You're at 1, you're about to jump, you just hear her faintly say, again, still in pain, I don't want to leave you.
We'll be fine. You just stay safe.
Promise?
Promise.
She doesn't speak back, but the feeling that enters your mind is one of acknowledgement. As the first mate recovers from the shaking, grabbing the rails, kind of taking to the sky a little bit to keep himself on tack, looks back at you all as if like, we still moving with the plan?
Wolf is ready. He's in the
Let's give
jump
a thumbs
position and
up.
holding the 2 squishiest people. He's just like,
He looks down and he's like, 1, and
yeah.
yeah,
Well, jump. Doesn't even hesitate.
Oh my
I'm
god.
the young.
you all jump. You are in the open air, the wind rustling by you rapidly as you free fall towards the ground, the battle raging beneath you, as just under you, a small rectangle that slowly begins to get bigger and bigger as you approach. It's the top of the tower. You're all pretty much on target.
Oh.
Alright.
Wolf's
I think-
fling plan is put himself between the floor and the squishies and hope that one of them casts Featherfall in time.
Mitz is actually going to like
So how
calculate
about
this
that
because
slide?
it's 1 minute and it's 60 feet per round, right?
Yeah.
So Mitz is like actually like calculating how far, like how high up he needs to cast before actually like casting Featherfall.
Your intelligence is high enough. I won't make you roll anything for that. I'd say you're all free falling for a couple seconds, just out in the open air. The wind so loud that you almost can't even hear the sounds of battle around you anymore. Just the faint ambience of cannons blasting behind you. You fall for 3, then 4, then 5, then more seconds. And just as you're like,
It's
oh god,
It's
you all close your eyes like, then you open them.
Wolf doesn't close his eyes. He's having a great time.
Well, Wolf, you would notice then an almost arresting as you fall. You still fall, but you suddenly feel your velocity just rapidly slow. And you are now slowly floating down to the top of the tower. And as you're all watching, ballista fire and even some light musket fire, which is just plinking off of her bulk, is following Durga, but she's rapidly leaving its range. So much so that as you all sent her away and didn't have her like stay in range or anything, not that many people seem to notice you all falling. Except for those at the top of the tower. There are a wave of Hashari soldiers, not many of them, maybe 2 small squads, sitting in preparation. There's another individual
Hello there.
there staring. It's hard to make them out at first. But as you all slowly approach, slowly falling, you see. By the way, Mitz, how many people can you cast Featherfall on?
Let's see. Up to 5 falling creatures within range, and
Perfect.
Mitts themselves can glide.
Okay, so you're casting it on all the relevant people. You all fall. The 5 of you slowly approaching, seeing the 2 squadrons of Ashari soldiers, along with one other individual, who it's hard to tell at first, but as you slowly approach, you make out armor, and then a long naginata, and then a bloodthirsty smirk. As Kali stands at the top of the tower, waiting for you all, watching you all descend.
Within 120 feet of the tower, of the top of the tower.
You're almost there.
Okay, Mitz is not
Nice.
even going to not even going to wait. It's just going to so long as we're not within range of falling in the same area, is just going to cast Sickening Radiance at the top of that tower.
Just
It's like if we're
fuck.
not if we're not gonna like fall into that range, it's just gonna be like, nah, you guys are all just gonna just fuck you.
I mean, you will fall into it eventually, but I'd say you can hold it for the duration up until you hit like the apex of the bubble of Sickening Radiance.
Mhm.
So amidst you, again, wave a hand as you're all falling, and you all see this bright kind of ripple of greenish, sickly energy all kind of envelop the top of the tower. Kali's smirk drops from her face. A lot of the Hashari soldiers at the top all kind of begin to fall, some of them even dropping their firearms and like clutching at their chests as they like pant and breathe. Kali herself clutches her polearm tighter and doubles over just a bit before shaking her head and straightening back out. And you all finally land just as she straightens herself out. Your feet lightly touching on the top of the tower as you all land in a cool superhero formation, however you'd like to. You can imagine however you'd like. You all face down with the Matron of the Void, Herald of the End, and her soldiers. And just behind you, Mitz, you're feeling a weird, slight tingle of magical energy. Very similar to the one you just manifested. It's like coming from above you. If you look up,
Mitz I'm imagining like just on Wolf's back at this point, and is just gonna look just like
Yeah, no,
peek up.
both of you behind him and just.
I love that.
you look up,
No, they could make a display of that. That was amazing.
you look up, there are 5 other individuals making their way down slowly. One of them, maintaining the spell Featherfall, is Starlight Eyes. With him is Joshua, Nakali, Shah Valen, and Brika. The 5 of them descend, landing just behind you. Take their positions, forming up into the superhero poses similar to all of you. Again, imagine it as dramatically as you'd like. Kali doesn't speak, just takes a few steps to the side, her polearm clattering on the ground as she walks with it just a bit. Not in pain or anything, just walking with it. And from behind her, held in, well, it's a plinth. Inside that plinth, or on top of that plinth, is a wide stone box, which I'm going to say all of you at this point can feel the intense, otherworldly, magical energy radiating off of it. Looking for this?
Well, you saved us the trouble of finding it.
Yes, actually, hand it over.
And you all saved the trouble of me finding you all. And isn't that convenient? You can all watch while I butcher your friends.
We weren't the ones who ran from both fights we had. We found you.
A point I'll concede. But alas, you'll notice, there is no more running.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Kali whispers from behind you all. Our time is short. I know you all wish to face her now, but remember she is not why we're here right now.
So, quick question.
Go.
Can Mitz, like, just quickly pull out, Mitz is gonna, like, pull out a scroll. It's one of the ones that they spent the past 14 days working on. And, yeah, they're just gonna cast a movable object on the box.
The moment you draw the scroll, and I'll say the spell still goes off, but the moment, because the spell, like, they always expect, like, some kind of, like, fireball to pour out of it or some other magical attack. The spell glows. Nothing happens, so no one does anything. But you see both of the Hashari squads immediately lock their guns into place and point them at all of you.
Gee,
Wolf will turn into a big dire wolf and, like, just shield the two spellcasters with his large body. as soon as the guns come out, that's all he's got.
So, Wolf, you become your massive, large, dire wolf form, shielding the two spellcasters. Everyone tenses. And the Kali says, we have to get to that gem and get you all to fight Shem. It's the only plan we have here. Do not falter. And I think this might be a great spot for us to cut to a very quick break as the chaos of battle rages below and our heroes and friends face down against the matron of the end. We'll be right back. Thank you so much to our raiders and loves for tuning in. This is the most viewers we've had in a while. So thanks for hanging out. Please don't touch that dial. We'll be back in no more than 7 to 10 minutes tops. Please feel free to go use the bathroom, grab a drink, take care, check in with your loved ones, or take the dog out for a walk if you need to. We will see you all in just a bit. A goodbye. And we welcome you back to the conclusion of this rousing episode of Seven Sons as the siege of the tower is underway. Our heroes have landed at the top of the tower. I know this map looks like a courtyard and not the top of the tower, but trust me, it's the top of the tower. Shut up. Kali was ready for them, waiting with the object they seek, the box containing the gem. 2 squads of Hashari soldiers stand ready here and here. And the party is preparing themselves for combat. Y'all know exactly what I'm about to say, don't you? Friends?
Oh, I hope I do.
Here's a free victory and a level up.
Friends?
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll me some initiative, please.
I have advantage,
Roll
so I'm
the
going to...
Click your tokens!
Oh! Okay, I don't even need to roll again. I just crit on
Let's
initiative.
count.
Well, there you go.
I'm also going to use a die to see if I can get a little higher maneuver.
What?
Go for it.
So I have a 24.
All right.
Ooh.
Go ahead and click your tokens and roll initiative, and I can change your numbers to whatever you need to be.
Oh, what?
Wolf, you said
Yeah, we're gonna do
24.
the one that I actually did.
Okay.
Heck.
Here.
I selected a token. What are you talking about?
It's alright. I will just add you a turn. 23 for Mako. Ploy, what do you got? Ploy?
22. Sorry,
Okay.
I was muted.
22. Oh man.
Alright. And that's that. And then I'll just have them act at the end of you guys. Let's find out when the bad guys act. This squad up here. That's pretty poor. This squad down here is not as poor, but still not good enough. And Kali. That's significantly better. If you'll excuse me. And then they just go at the end, basically. Alright, so let me order the tokens. Descending order. Wolf, you go first as the Hashari ready themselves for combat and appear to be loading themselves. The captains are barking orders, readying them to fire. But you have initiative to act. Go.
Yeah, so Wolf is already in big dire wolf form. So he is going to rage as a bonus action, which lets him move 20 feet, so there. And then he's going to use the rest of his movement, which should be another... Yeah, he's actually going to move to the side of Cully here as this big wolf, and I actually don't know how this works. I think yeah, I'm just gonna use the wolf's bite attack, and he's gonna try and slam into Cully, and we'll see with his teeth and see how that works. So let's put rage damage on. I'm gonna use this for hit, but it doesn't. The damage is not gonna be accurate.
Oof. 8 and the 12. Wolf, you charge up as a dire wolf. You snap your jaws down on the collie as you slam into her. She just spins the haft of her polearm and smacks it down in your snout, and you instinctively kind of like have to recoil a bit as she kind of just pushes off a bit to gauge space.
Well, then I'm gonna use my second attack and do the same thing and hope it's better this time.
17 does not hit her. Nope. As you are you're like chomping at her, trying to get like a good grip on her, and she's just dancing back and forth, trying to get around you. That same sick smirk on her face. And it's her turn. Anything else?
No, that's all I got.
All right, then we're stepping on. She is going to not even bother to move because she's where she needs to be. She's going to plant her feet firmly. Again, spin her polearm around some more. You'll see her open her eyes, and they light up with this dark, sickly purple energy as it flares along her polearm. She brings it up in an arc high and tries to bring it down on you. Wolf does a... So I'm gonna guess that a 29 hits you, yeah?
Yeah, that'll hit me, no matter how I do that armor.
Cool. Give me a second. I need to get some dice. So Wolf, I need you to take... let's see. This much plus... Oh, that's not a bad roll. Or actually, bad roll for her, but not a bad roll for you. So 14 slashing damage, and this is the worst part. Oh, yeah, you didn't want her to roll good on this. Sorry. 16 necrotic damage. As she is then going to spin and do it, and try, so again, break the first one down, slaps it down to the flat end on the top of your head, spins again, tries to bring the reverse end of it down. It's now also flaring with the purplish energy. Oh, that's actually a pretty bad roll. And she, my dice is 30. I'm sorry. Wolf, does exactly a 20 hit you?
It will.
Ah, well, in that case, thankfully she didn't crit this time.
Oh, good, that was a crit. I was a little worried.
Oh, don't worry. She rolled pretty poorly, actually, for the crit damage. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 slashing damage again, and 11 more necrotic damage.
Oof. At least you can have the slash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been doing that.
Then she will, so those are her 2 attacks. She'll use her 3rd attack action to use a different move than the one she used, wherein you'll see her just kind of, as she's battling back and forth with you, you'll see her just kind of step back, loving this melee, and just roar in like a laughter almost, and you'll see a wave, a ripple of purple energy just lash out in an area around her. Wolf, please make me a strength save.
All right.
Wolf, you feel a force slam into you like a shockwave of pressure, but you grit your claws into the concrete of this tower, and you hold yourself in perfectly fine. That's it for her. Mako, go. Mako, from just behind you can hear Nakali just say, "Remember the plan."
Right. Alright, so Mako is going to head out this way.
That way?
Yeah, that way. Actually, I'm gonna head out this way. And I'm going to take aim at one of these dudes with my... Actually, no, I'm going to take aim at Kali with my crossbow.
Go for it.
Will do. Just as soon as I can get to the thing. There.
You fling out a crossbow bolt. And as she's focused on meleeing with Wolf, she doesn't see that one. Just embeds her shoulder plate beside. It definitely cuts through to like the flesh, but she just turns, grunts, and snaps the crossbow bolt, and then throws the end of it somewhere else, and then looks at you and growls.
Okay. I'll use sneak attack then.
Go.
Since I hit her with a ranged weapon while she was in 5 feet of a hostile target.
Go
friend.
ahead.
Or hostile unit.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. You see her like grunt a bit as she throws this crossbow bolt, but as she like looks at the wound a bit, you see her roll her shoulders some and just kind of wince a little. Anything else, Mako?
All right. And then, oh yes, there is.
Let's do it.
Since Kali is within 30 feet of some of her friendly units here, I will. Whoops. I will whisper Wails of the Dead on this guy here.
Okay. Go ahead.
That'd be 22.
You flash out with necrotic damage at this Hashari right there, who just kind of was, who turns and looks at you as you flash.
Just
your arm
minding
out
his
there.
own business.
And you all watch as this Hashari just decay. He just ages rapidly and dies, falls over. He did.
Oh. Mako, you scary.
Yeah. It's like, well,
That's not what I wanted.
that's a new one. Where'd you learn that trick?
I was.
You've done it before.
Okay, there we go.
We
Spirit
just so
world,
rarely
you know.
find people who are clustered up.
That's true. We haven't seen this one in a while.
Anything else for you, Mako? Is that
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, so many of our fights have been one-on-one.
Or people who spread out
All right,
effectively.
I think I'm out of actions for the turn.
Mitz, do it.
All right, Mitz is first going to call down a blazing chariot.
The sky
Oh, no.
parts as you all watch two horses made of bright white flame gallop down on the air from the heavens, trailing a large chariot behind them with no one riding it. It swoops down and in an arc lands directly in front of you, Mitz. You now have your chariot.
Mitz offers a hand to Z and Shavelin, just goes, ladies.
Shaw looks
Get in, nerd.
Shaw looks at you a little bit timidly, just
We're going crystal attuning.
Yeah.
Like, well,
and I'll go ahead and say for the sake of narrative, she can hop into it. That's totally fine.
got it. Z, you coming with?
I'll pop in after my turn. I got a thing I gotta be in range for.
Got it. Then, all right. I think. How close are we? Just a little bit too far. Mitz is about to is like just fingering the thumb of of his decanter and it's just like.
Oh no.
This again.
Return of the decanter.
Yes.
The most
Again, we're
useful
just gonna make this
non-combat artifact
throwdown
in
over
combat.
In the game.
All right. Since we're waiting for Z, Mitz is actually just going to just stay put for now.
All right.
That's it.
Ploy, it's on you.
Alright. Ploy, first thing he's gonna do is gonna move to, I think it's here. Hold on, let me just measure that again. Yeah. And I can see this guy, right?
Yes, no question.
Alright. In that case, Ploy's gonna take a moment to imbue his javelin with lightning.
And that's a 5 foot wide line, yeah.
No, it's a this is the
Oh,
Spell.
spell. Lightning
Yeah.
round. Yeah, okay.
so within 10 feet.
So yeah, Ploy, you grip your javelin and like hold it tightly and think very intently. nature kind of bends to your whim, and you all feel this kind of crackling sparkle as lightning begins to gather around Ploy and then swells, filling the javelin.
And then I'm going to throw at this guy right here.
Throw it. The attack itself does not hit with a 12.
Okay.
But the effect does still happen. It says that,
Yes.
yeah, every
Whether you hit or miss, yeah.
has to take a D. Every 10 feet has to take a dexterity saving throw?
Yeah.
What's the DC?
Yes. Dex saving throw. I believe
14.
it's
14 is what the
14.
thing says.
Oh
Yeah.
no. How much damage is it again?
It is 2d8 lightning damage.
Okay,
All of them.
Anybody here watch Bleach?
Yeah.
So-
Nope.
Ulquiorra has this cool ass move called Lanza de Lerampango, which is a Lance of Thunder and Lightning. It's just like a
Yeah.
giant lightning spear arrow of like green energy. And when he throws it, it like lands somewhere, like explodes in this column of bright green energy. This is that, except lightning. Ploy, you huck this javelin. It embeds just in the stone beneath this guy. He looks down confused. And then a column of lightning, bright white light, so bright you all have to avert your eyes, erupts from the ground beneath these guys. And as it settles, sorry, I'm using the wrong tool, my fault. As it settles, they're all dead. The only one remaining
They just get vanished.
is the captain, who took to the sky before the explosion happened and appears to be definitely singed a bit and wounded, and is looking down in horror at all of his dead men. And yeah, that's really that.
Well, that worked better than expected. And then I'm gonna throw a mummy javelin at Kali.
Do it. Hits again. She's still focusing on melee dueling with Wolf, although she's a bit more cognizant of her surroundings from having taken a round from Mako, but she's not able to focus well enough. You wait till a perfect moment and drop in her guard. You fling that mummy javelin out. It sticks itself right into like a side plate of her armor on her back. She doubles a bit, catches herself on her pole arm, turns and just like yells at you, some curse in Sethani, and just snaps that javelin as well. Well, not snaps it, but pulls it back out and chucks it to the ground. Anything else for you, Ploy?
Nope, that's it.
Zanari, go.
Alright, cool. I'm just gonna move up just a little bit.
Hey, real
Just one
quick.
little step.
Kali's been hit twice, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, just
Yeah.
Alright, I'm just gonna step
got a
to this
legendary
little
action,
edge
doesn't she?
right here. I'm just gonna hold on. Spell component for this. Yeah. I'm just gonna pick up a piece of mica and just kind of throw it in this direction onto, especially just this guy right here. He's gonna get the worst of it. And I'm just gonna cast Shatter.
We're bringing it back. Do it.
Yep. I need some con saves.
Oh boy, DC?
17.
No.
Uh-oh.
8 does not beat 15 or 16 or whatever the number
It
was.
does not, in fact.
Alright.
It's almost like a hand grenade. You chuck a small little kind of piece of like stone off that way. It lands. You hear this deafening boom of sonic force that bursts eardrums. Hashari goes flying. Some of them go flying over the edge, falling to their deaths. The captain again takes to the sky, but this one definitely you see him just shake his head as like the deafening boom just throws him. But as for all his friends here, they're dead.
Yeah, great. Okay, cool. And I bet you that wall is.
Hmm?
That
Oh,
wall
yeah.
probably isn't looking
Oh yeah,
right
there's a
either.
huge hole. You are all seeing straight through to where the captain is. There's a hole right in the middle of this wall right here.
Well, cool. That's my action. As my bonus action, tell you what, I'm going to spend a bardic inspiration and determine tale.
Do it.
So let me mark that out. D10 and see what happens. D10. Ooh,
Oh,
10,
okay.
okay.
A 10.
Exciting.
Very cool. I have to see which one that is, because anything past 8, I don't know. Oh, cool, it's the dragon.
Oh.
The dragon.
The dragon?
I don't get to bestow anything yet, but you pick the poem of a wrathful dragon. He spews fire from the mouth of the pound. Each creature in that area must make a dex save, taking fire to equal to 3 rolls of my bardic inspiration on a failed save or half on success. So I have to bestow that to someone later. As an action. I have done the save on this
Damn. Well, there you go.
action.
You gonna board the chariot?
Yeah, I'm aboard the chariot now.
So, Kali looks, seeing her soldiers all dying. And 2 things happen. The first is that she looks at one of the captains and cuts them a hard glare. The captain starts shrieking out in his Janaka kind of bird-like dialect, clearly calling for some reinforcement or something. The second thing that happens is Kali is still handling this melee duel with Wolf. You're going at it, back and forth, Wolf. You bring your muzzle up to kind of take a bite at her. She steps back. She swipes around, takes the butt end of her polearm, and just bashes you in the skull with it. You are disoriented and you step back for a moment. In that moment, she turns, looks at the large group of you all back here, and I need to roll a die real quick. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. See how this plays out.
Oh no.
You all see Kali.
Oh no.
Actually, you know what? Let me just roll this first before so I can know what's gonna happen first. This is gonna be. I need more d6s. Oh boy.
Oh, that's always great to hear
Yeah.
from the
You
GM.
love to hear it.
So, Kali leaves. She steps back from Wolf, her body flaring this sickly purple energy, looks at the group of you all, and leaps high, maybe a good 30 or so feet, straight in the air, in an arcing parabola. Against the sunlight, it's kind of hard to see exactly where she's going as you all look up to track her arc. She comes down, whirling her polearm in circles, and brings it straight down as she leaps. And as she lands, she comes directly on top of and pins down Shah Valen. Her Naginata digging straight into her stomach.
She's making a melee attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Against someone. I need Kali to take 3d6 fire and 3d6 radiant damage.
Roll it.
Okay, 3d6 fire and 3d6 radiant.
Oof. Oof. So yeah, she comes and she like slashes through Shah. You can tell the intent was to literally pin her down with the blade end of her Naginata, but the chariot swerves a bit. It still slashes deeply across Shah's chest, gashing her open, and you see blood pour out as she screams and falls to the ground. Kali is lit up in red and white flames. She howls a bit, and while she was trying to keep her footing on the chariot, she topples over off the side of it and lands on the ground here, slowly coming back up. Shah, however, collapses to the ground and doesn't look to be, well, conscious at least.
Okay, that was scary. Shah, are you okay? Actually, okay at all.
He's
Definitely not
just
okay.
awake.
Definitely not
Do
okay.
do the rest of our teammates do something then at this moment, or is it...
It's. I mean, that was a legendary action, so it's. I'm gonna swing back around to initiative and to the rest in just a moment. But before that happens, Mitz, you come over to the chariot sort of carriage area where Shah is collapsed over. She is doubled over, like on the ground. As you go to like check on her, she looks up, so she's conscious, she's awake. And you say, like, Char, are you okay? She just never better. And she looks down. There is a gaping open wound from the left side, like the right side of her like shoulder, straight across her torso to her hand. It does not look good.
Can Mitz immediately like pull out one of those potions of healing and just force
is
it on Sha?
Unfortunately not your turn, so I'm gonna say no. But
Okay, got it.
there are other turns to be had, as Nakali and Joshua, the moment Kali lands, run to either side, crisscrossing twice as they kind of move to either side of her, running at her, and begin to put up just a barrage of melee attacks. Nakali with her greatsword and shield, slashing at her and blocking blows with her shield. And as Nakali comes high, as Kali comes high, Nakali blocks with her shield. Joshua comes directly under her, casts his hand out. A series of blades fly out with electric force and jam themselves into her chest plate. She howls and kicks out, taking Joshua in like the neck area, and he falls backwards. But Nakali catches him and gets back up. They are just dueling it out. And with that, we'll come back to Wolf.
Alright, so...
Nakali, who is dueling with Kali, does just shout out in between attacks, just, remember the plan!
Wolf's not paying attention to that. That sign won't stop him because he can't read. This is his plan.
No.
Wolf actually is unshifting from his wolf form back into his regular form, and you can see he like keeps his paws as he sprints forward, and he's gonna try and get 3 attacks on this person.
Do it.
Oh boy.
Well, maybe. We'll see how the first one goes. Let's say that, and he's definitely reckless attacking, because why not?
Apparently too
Come
right.
on.
Oh,
Why are you getting so many ones today?
Stop saying- Why?
oh man.
You know what? He's attacked with his natural weapons. I'm going to use a bonus action, and Wolf is going to grapple Kali.
So yeah, that's fine. I mean, you can go ahead and roll, wait, do you have to hit?
Nope, it's an athletics contested check,
Okay.
which I have
Against
advantage
26.
on, so beat of 26.
She too
That's
has
a
advantage,
relief.
so I will roll.
That's
Well,
not a
I'll
good
take
sign.
it. A 24 does not beat it. You got her.
Nice.
And then, yeah, Wolf is just gonna use his last, I guess, attack action to just throw her away from the squishies.
All right.
He can get normally 10 feet out of it, but I don't know if I roll well enough it'll be more, which is again a contested
Go ahead. Do it.
athletics. So.
I'll roll for her. Okay.
30.
Oh,
Beat a 30.
Yeah, she rolled really high, but you still beat it. You tussle around with her for a while until you finally get a good grip on like the collar of her armor, and you just huck her as hard as you possibly can, and she just goes flying.
so
You-
somewhere in that direction. yeah.
You all in the chariot just watch as Kali literally sails over your heads. She lands
And,
on the
I
pile
mean-
and then rolls and then comes back up. Just angry.
Yeah, and Wolf is gonna just step forward. He doesn't have any more actions he can do, but
It's her turn. You're stepping forward. Well, she's gonna come right back at you. That first one is going to miss. Second one is not going to miss. Hey, Wolf, does a 28 hit you?
yeah, 28's gonna hit me.
Okay, I'm gonna roll some damage. Hey, she didn't crit again, so you got that. So Wolf, you are taking, sorry, I'm sure 1 die. Ooh, good roll that time. 11, 13 slashing, and it's 12, 17 necrotic.
Oof. You were right there, Wolf.
I am definitely bleeding at this point.
She looks as she kind of like is dealing with you and finally scores a cut like across like your like kind of like face like area, smiles a bit,
Mhm.
and then just kind of like brings up for one last attack. She gets 3. Flat 20 does hit you, yes?
What?
Flat 20 hits you?
A flat 20? Yeah.
All right, one more time. That's 13 slashing, and ooh, bad roll there. Only 10 necrotic.
Only 10.
Only 10.
As she is just again, she is now like, again, you can tell she's a bit angry. She's almost single-mindedly focusing on you. Nikali is watching this melee of 2 bestial champions go at it, and she shoots over to those of you in the chariot, and then looks over and just says, "The plan." And that's her turn. Mako, it's you.
Alright. Keeping in mind the plan, Mako would hate for Mitz to waste time on tending to Temin. So I am going to fly over there. Because it doesn't matter if I get near the box, because I can't attune with it. And I am going to put a potion of healing on Temin. Because
Shot.
I've got a
Or
few
Valen.
things.
Yes.
Or Valen, yeah.
Yeah, so you uncork the potion, put it down, let's try to focus her there. And yeah, it immediately stabilizes and heals her a fair bit. She looks at the wound, starts to rapidly close, just, "Thank you," she says, genuine, like, acceptance and kindness in her voice.
I still don't like you,
You
but
can thank me when we're done here.
Anything else?
That's my action, right?
Bonus action. Oh no, action to give it to somebody else, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I can do anything else.
Alrighty. Mitz, it's on you.
Mitz is first gonna be like, thanks, Mako. And
You can fly the chariot over to the
Good
box.
Yeah,
Fly
can
the
we
chariot
drive
right
over Kali?
over.
Can we just like run her over?
oh yeah, that's a thing that
First.
Mitz, it's overrun and it counts as Kali trying to do a melee attack, and we're just gonna run right over her.
Yep.
We can actually
Move, bitch. Get out the way.
So, yeah.
Road rage.
Holly
Also-
is dueling with Wolf and doesn't even see the chariot coming. Go ahead and roll damage.
Yeah, that's 3
Should never see it
3d6 fire,
coming.
3d6
Roll it.
3d6 radiant.
Oh my god.
Kali is dueling with Wolf,
Oh, no.
clashing back and forth. Wolf, you get both hands on her Naginata in the middle and kind of like wrestling with her back and forth.
Yeah.
But just from the right, a bright white light just swipes her aside, knocks her to the ground. She rolls over, gets up, breathing heavily. "I will butcher every single one of you!" She looks pissed.
Okay,
Keep
well,
rolling.
Fucking try.
And yeah, go ahead and move wherever you're moving, and Zenari and Shah will move along with you as they're also in the chariot.
Nice.
Okay.
I guess also Mako now?
I
Oh.
guess.
Oh my god.
I mean, I wasn't
Get in
boarding,
with
but I
it.
can go along for the ride, I guess.
So Mitz is gonna hover the chariot actually like about 50 feet above the box, right? Like, which is hopefully out of Kali's range, and at this point, is like, okay, Valen, can we do the thing? And that's like the late disruption that Mitz it's like, I guess, like working together is like, okay, like how does that?
So Shah understands your concern. She looks at her wound. "I am a bit weak right now." And she sits up. "But you have my aid. Let us do this."
All right, so we're gonna use late disruption and hopefully destroy whatever spell is currently being used to shackle all the prisoners in the tower.
Zenari, what spell level is the negative energy wave spell of yours? You mind burning that spell slot for me?
Yeah, sure.
As the three of you, in tandem, with Mako watching and keeping guard, all sort of begin to place your hands in a collective pile and focus your energies. Shah is immediately amazed by the just raw deluge of divine power she feels from the two of you. She just says, beautiful. But you see her kind of smirk a bit, but I won't be outdone. And flare more of her own magical power into it. It does not match either, no way, but she's putting up an effort. And as you all gather and swell this sort of, for lack of a better term, bubble of negative magical ley energies tied to the very nature of Zor'aa itself, this Elmatrices playing out in your mind's eye against this bubble. The build is swelling. Even as it begins to burn at your insides and it hurts a bit, you still push more and more negative energy into it. Again and again until finally it pops. And you all feel this wave of force wash over the entirety of the battlefield. Everything goes quiet for a minute. None of you know if it worked or what just happened. And then you hear commotion from beneath you. A lot of it. Shouting, screaming, occasional bits of gunfire here and there. Sounds like some commotion's happening down there. Kali hears this, looks over at all of you, and she's not magically in tune the way you all are. She knows exactly what happened. She gets a rough sense of what's happening, and just slams her noggin out into the ground in rage. Just no! And looks like she is prepared to do something to try and stop you from getting either to the gem or to stop whatever's happening. But she's not sure how to do so. Floyd, it's you.
Alright. For the plan, I guess, I'm gonna cast Ensnaring Strike at just at level 1.
Alright. Dex save
And
or
then
strength?
it is... Ooh, that's a great question. It is a Strength.
Incoming.
And then I'm gonna throw
Ooh.
a Javelin.
Yeah, she failed both of those, so,
Oh, well, I have to hit with something
Oh,
first.
yes, yeah, fair.
Oh no.
Oh, well.
Which may or may not happen.
Seven.
Oh no.
I'm gonna throw a second one because I like it. It keeps going until I hit something.
Uh-huh. That one
That's
hits.
26.
So yeah,
Which I'll take.
as she's back up and dueling and trying to like look screaming at Mako and Zenari and Mitz and Shah, a javelin sails by her head. She ducks back from. What? Turns. Another one strikes her in the shoulder. She goes to grab it, and vines rip through the stone and wrap themselves around her arm, and then her body, and then her neck. And she just starts to rage as she can't move.
Alright, and that's also 18 damage.
Mm-hmm. And she's looking ruffled. Definitely not like out of it, but she's ruffled, definitely.
Alright, and that's my turn.
Zenari, it goes to you.
Okay. Well, cool. Hold on, I got 2 seconds before actually doing. Okay, cool. I want to use my action to bestow that tail of the dragon onto Floyd because I think that's very fun to do that. So you have a dragon breath now.
Wait, I have a what?
You have dragon breath.
You have a dragon breath now. Use it wisely. 30-foot
Oh.
cone. Don't kill anyone that is our friend. And then, in bonus action, I did not cast a spell on that. It cast Healing Word over to.
One more time, what are you going for?
I'm gonna send a Healing
This is
Word
the
at
one
third
who
level
needs it
over
right now.
Okay. Third level healing
Okay.
word over the wolf. So yeah, Wolf, you feel magical energy kind of begin to knit wounds and close things and reinvigorate your. It wasn't like you were tiring, but you were definitely starting to slowly feel yourself fatigue down a little bit from this long fight with Kali. But you feel a bit of that energy kind of reinvigorate you as you start to go at her some more. And Ploy, as you are watching the javelin ensnare Kali, you feel like a heat in your throat. And you kind of like shake your head to clear it, And as you shake your head, you notice you have a frill on either side of your head. And when you cough a bit, a little gout of flame comes out.
Well, that's new.
Yeah. Ba-dum-bum-bum, ba-dum-bum-bum, bum-bum.
Buddy. Anything else, Izanari?
Spitfire.
That's it.
All right, then we circle back around to the bad guys who are all dead, mostly. The captains, however, appear to be going to gather their reinforcements. So they're moving their way towards like the exit points to get out of here. And that's that. Nakali and Joshua dive back past you, Wolf, to help you continue to engage in the melee with Kali. So it's now a 3-on-1. As you all approach, Kali is just spinning her Naginata, trying to keep a defensive stance to keep you all at bay. But you're all duking it out. Nakali looks over and just says, "Mitz, now!" And we'll pass it over to Wolf.
All right, we'll see if Wolf can finally do the thing he wants to do. It's just the same as last turn.
Do it. A 19 will hit.
Haha! I'm also going to make a distracting strike. So, yeah, it just happens, actually. There's no save. The next attack has advantage. And it also does an extra 1d8.
Alright.
Also, for some reason, it didn't add my Colossus Slayer, so another 1d8. I don't think. Maybe it did.
Wait, does that apply to a pretty large creature?
No, it's any creature that's already been hit
Oh, fair enough. There
if
you
they've
go.
taken damage.
Oh.
But no, it's already added that. So, yeah, that's the damage. But then, instead of my second attack, Wolf is basically... I think the flavor of this is he's just, like, basically backhanded her, almost, like, just rudely. And then he puts a, like, claw on her shoulder to sort of drag her forward, and just leans over and goes, "Mako, hit her!" And does Commander Strike. So, Mako, you get to attack her now with advantage.
Do the thing.
All right. Well, from where I am, I will take another shot with my crossbow.
Do it.
You'll hit up.
With advantage, that's a hit.
All right. And do I get to? And I
Yes, you get sneak
will
attack.
take a sneak attack. If I
Sneak
can,
attack.
I guess.
Attack her sneakily.
Sneaky
For
beaky.
15 more damage.
That's,
Yeah.
15.
Yeah, so, yeah.
All right.
As you kind of have her held, she like tries to like resist. Another crossbow bolt just digs into her back. You see her kind of see like Wolf. You feel her slump a bit, actually in pain this time, but just shake and like push you back a bit, and like just try to like shake it off. She doesn't pull the crossbow bolt this time. She keeps it in there, but she just looks even more enraged. But just you can tell that she's starting to get a little bit worn down by this.
And then I get one more attack, so...
That's a crit.
Yes.
There it is.
Oh.
So yeah, you, as she like steps back from your grip, you just slash out with your claws. You catch her straight across the face. It cuts open, like you scar straight across her face. Blood begins to pour into her eye. And she just like wipes at it, flings it to the ground. And she's like... to the point where she's not even speaking anymore. Anything else?
We'll speak something really quick, because that's all the actions I possibly have. It's like, your father was disappointed in you.
She looks genuinely angry. Just, what would you
Good.
know of my father?
We met him. He thought you were going to save the world.
She says, I will.
Ah,
She comes up and you know what? I think it's a perfectly thematic time to do this, actually, as you mentioned your dad. She gets up from her crouch, enraged. That purple energy is literally seeping from all of her wounds. She peels back, roars so loud it literally shakes the tower, and then swipes out with her polearm, and a wave of energy bathes the whole side of the top of the tower. Wolf, I need you to make a dex save.
Dex save. Well, I have advantage at these.
Go ahead. You pass, dive forward in front of her 10 feet, like dive to about here-ish. As you see this crescent wave sweep out, it washes over Joshua and Nikali. And you're incredibly worried about them. As the energy fades, Joshua looks burned, damaged, and a little worse for wear, holding an arm, but still breathing, panting. Nikali has her shield up in front of her, its edges and center, just caked in ash, but she swipes it aside and does look very tired, but is there. She looks and just says, like to you, Wolf, we will hold her. Go.
Alright, I mean, I don't really have... Is that her turn or is it still mine?
That's her turn. She still has one more action to take. Actually, no, sorry.
Did she get?
That was
Did she get
legendary
rid of the
action.
vines?
Huh?
Did she get rid of the vines?
She is. I'm going to say she will legendary resist. So yeah, she is
Okay.
no longer affected by the vine, as the energy burns them away. But she turns and now seeing the only two in front of her, as again, you can no longer see the color in her eyes. It's just this blaring purple energy, and she just sees and begins to lay into Nikali and Joshua, who are doing their best to dodge around and clash back. But any of you watching notice, it's becoming a lot less riposte, parry, counter, and a lot more dodge, block, get away. I think from there we'll go ahead and pass it over to Mako.
Alright. Well, I know they said to leave Kali to them, but I've got one more turn, because we're still on this plane, and I haven't moved yet. So I'll use steady aim to give myself advantage on my next attack roll, and take another shot at Kali with the crossbow.
Do it!
Christ.
Ah,
Oh!
That's
Tragic.
a rough one.
Probably
lucky
not
Yeah,
one.
she's-
not eventually.
So she is standing there seething as she's just taking wild berserker swings. She's now holding the pole arm in just one hand and just taking wild berserker swings at the two of them. She turns to Nikali, tries to like bring the pole arm down on her. Nikali rolls out of the way. It slams. The stone floor shakes as she hits the ground. Mako, you take this time to fire your crossbow bolt out. It sails at her. She's not even looking your way. Brings a hand up and just grabs it.
You just ultra instincts.
Turns and looks.
Yeah.
Turns and looks at you. No more games. Anything else?
I think that's all I can do. Because I can't move after I use steady aim. And I don't think I have any... Yeah, I have no
You don't
bonus
have any
actions or
else to do.
reactions to take.
As she's looking at you and very angry, Nikali takes his time to try to like slash up at Kali. Gets her in the side. Her sword pierces through the armor into her side some. Kali turns, snatches her up by the throat, picks her up, spins the crossbow bolt she just caught out of the air, jabs that into Nikali's arm. She yells in pain. Kali chucks her to the ground. Nikali gets up. The gem! Go! Mitz, it's your turn.
We going?
Okay.
Oh, no way.
What Mitz is going to do is Mitz is going to like lower the chariot, like quickly pick up the box because a movable object does not apply to
You, because you get to, yeah.
yeah.
Only occasionally movable box.
It's only occasionally immovable. Is then going to freaking I guess is like okay, because everyone that needs to be there, right? So I guess since Wolf is over there, and it's like, well, I can't shift,
If you-
is going to pull out another immovable object scroll and use it on Nikali's polearm.
Yeah, Kali, you see the polearm drop to the ground as Kali tries to lift it and is able to. She lets go and just starts laying into them with her hands. Just swiping, claw, punching, kicking, lashing out with whatever she can. It's almost like she's not even thinking right now. She's just attacking.
Hey,
I will
if
say,
that's
I will say this though, just to be fair.
Yep.
You can, as a bonus action, begin the plane shift, kind of begin to channel it and gather it, sort of more narratively than anything else. It's more just like a way to gather it. And we'll say that just because you all aren't directly engaged with Kali, I'll say that, you know, it's Ploy's turn next, that you can say Ploy can use his turn to kind of like step over, and you can kind of hold the plane shift for when Ploy gets there.
okay. Because otherwise Mitz was just going to pull out the decanter and just.
No.
Not the
Save it for when we have
decanter.
to fight her again.
Not
Yeah,
the
okay.
decanter.
But for the sake of, I guess, things like so the chariot is now on the ground, right? Mitz is holding out like he's like, okay, everyone in a circle, and is going to hand in hand, and is going to start like gathering the magical energy, like using their bonus action to like maybe not actually like activate the circle, right? But is like prepping the spell for when Ploy gets there.
You all see tendrils of magical energy. Ploy, feel free to move over if you want, as it's now your turn. Begin to gather and swell around Mitz, building and building as Mitz's eyes glow this bright blue. The lid to the box opens, just flaps itself open. The gem begins to hover in the air, resonating and glowing and singing almost with this bright hum of energy. Ploy, you make your way over. Looking back at
Hey
the
guys,
fight.
somebody call?
Looking back at the fight, Kali is dueling with Joshua and Nakali still. Joshua comes and begins to work his blades around in an elaborate dance, cutting into her from the side. She takes his arm, swings him around, and bashes him into Nakali. The two of them sprawl out on the ground in front of him. She turns.
Pull
looks
that
at
move
all-
from me.
She turns, looks at all of you with murder in her eyes. Mitz, you are gathering the swell of energy. It's almost there. Z and Shog and the spellcasters can feel this gathering point of energy. You both know it's close. It's so close. It's just not there yet. From the sides, from her side, Kali begins to, without picking up her polearm, just begin to slowly start walking towards you all. Nakali and Joshua begin to untangle themselves. Nakali looks over, seeing you all, well, gathering. And slowly works herself back to her feet. She turns, looks at Kali, throws her sword to the ground, drops her shield, and takes a boxer stance. Kali turns, bloodthirsty smile, and starts to walk towards her. And it's at this point that Shaw pipes up. I am noticing something strange. Mitz, do you feel it as well? Mitz, you and Zanari would both instantly notice that this plane shift spell, it centers on this gem as a focal point for return. The domain of Shem the End is not one from whence mortals are meant to return from if they pass over. You need this gem to remain here for you to return. Someone has to ensure Kali does not get this gem while you all pass through. Shaw doesn't say that out loud, but you all feel that. Or you too feel that.
Someone has to stay.
Shaw smiles and says, you all better get going.
Mitz is going to quick pass over another scroll of, I guess, just like
Immovable object.
yeah.
Oh no.
It's like, well, you need it. And I think the chariot will stay with Shaw, so it's like, stay on the chariot. It'll protect you.
I will do all that I can. Are you sure your magic will remain in place once you leave this plane?
It's like, well, it should last because it's like the chariot itself should last for an hour unless it gets destroyed.
I will try to keep it safe.
Wolf's gonna
What?
take his one health potion he has out, and almost like just press it into her chest, and it's like, you're going to live.
She smiles.
Got it?
She smiles. I have a son, Sigwadal. He is precious to me. I'll ensure that I see him again when this ends. See you all soon.
What? Do I have enough time to summon a beast?
Yeah, why not?
Alright, in
Maybe
that
start your
case,
turn.
Let's see. Let's
It
see.
is
Let's
still
see.
your
It
turn.
is-
summoning a beast.
Let's get the rolls happening.
Alright, what do you
What
want
is it?
for
You know what
me?
it is.
Time
D20s.
for 3 backs.
Alright,
You back.
Give us bring it back.
A 19?
that's a
19.
19.
19.
Is that another Zorin devil?
You rolled twice, by the way, Floyd. So roll another one.
It's just once at this level.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
19, huh?
Yep.
Floyd, can you roll me a d6 real quick?
Sure. The 3.
Oh, that's just perfect.
Oh boy.
Ploy, you reach out to all the beasts in Zor'aa, begging them, beseeching them, come aid. Something has to reach out. The Zor'aa devil was powerful. But you need more. It called itself the eldest once, because it is the eldest of its kin, the first to be born from its father, the first to rise. A voice answers you. Kin, I come. You all feel the ground rumble. The mountain just south of where the tower is erupts. The top of it spewing lava and magma down its side. A massive claw reaches out of the soup of it all and slams down. And then another. And pulling itself from the thick magma soup is a molten herald. It roars a challenge and says, in your mind, Ploy, how may I serve?
Check the one near me and keep them away from that one. And I point at Kali and just transmit that image in my mind of like, Kali bad. Kali very bad.
It looks down at the top of the tower, locking eyes with Kali, who is still walking towards Nakali, and is now kind of arrayed at the group of people in front of her. Nakali in her boxer stance, Joshua still whipping his blades in a circle, Shah aboard the chariot readying a massive fire spell, and the Molten Herald cresting over the edge of the tower tip behind him. Kali's walk slowly picks up until she is full-on sprinting directly at all of them. And the last thing you see before reality shifts and you all blink out of this plane is Nakali and Kali running at each other. Armor gone, faces bloody, fists bare. And then you snap. A bright haze of light as you are removed from this very fabric of reality. This place is called the In-Between. It is a place where those who are attuned to the beyond may enter and rest. The five of you are there together, watching. The wounds you bore in your fight with Kali closed. You all appear in perfect health. No stamina drained from your bodies. Zanari and Mitz and Mako, you all have been in this place before, this in-between. It's normally just a void. But here, it is a canyon. peaks of onyx black reach out on either side, forming a large, grasping reach towards the heavens, sharp, jagged points marking their tips. A singular, high moon rests above. You are all present and watching, taking in this scene. And just beneath you, as you rest at the top of one of these peaks, a figure sits in the canyon. Its bulk is such that it takes up almost its whole bottom. A massive figure resting stalwart, immovable, unmoving, if not for the faint rising and falling of very, very slow breathing. Wolf, you feel the gems on your gauntlets glowing like they never have before, flaring bright white light, such that it literally cuts through the darkness around you, brighter than even the moon. And as this light reaches out to the heavens, the figure begins to move. And from the crest of the canyon, slowly rising up above its head, you all see a head, a pair of bright, dark red eyes, a snout, and a maw open wide with teeth as long as ballista rounds. Its maw opens, and in the back of its throat, you see only blackness, only the void, only the end. And with that, we bring this session of Seven Suns to a rousing conclusion. As I bring back my intro music and get the party out of here, I want to thank you all for tuning in to an amazing session that, I don't know, this was hella fun. I had a really good fucking time today, guys, not gonna lie.
Dang.
Yeah.
Real quick, before I forget, because I'm gonna forget, super huge shout out to Critical Drinking for throwing us a raid of 20 people and for making this session our most viewed stream in a while. Thank you guys for coming to hang out with us. We hope you all enjoyed.
That didn't involve a hate raid.
That's true. That's fair. Love that
Right.
for us. So great job, everybody, for that. Let's go around the horn. Go ahead and just, say who you are, who you play today, and if you want, give me a quick little blurb on like how you're feeling about today's session, what you're thinking about, and then we'll come back in. We'll get us out of here and move on with our lives. Mako, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Yo, I am Lan the Dan. I played Mako Sky, the possessed floating suit of armor rogue and monk in training, I guess. If you want to hear more of me for some reason, you can find me on Twitter at Lan the Dan. I am not in any other campaigns right now, but that might change down the line. But I will be back here whenever we decide to reconvene for the grand finale of Seven Suns.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Up next, I believe we head over to Mitz.
Hyped for a good old final boss battle.
I'm Michelle. I don't social media, so don't bother. Wow. I like being a huge inconvenience. Sorry, because fuck you, Holly. Guess you can find me Thursday and the next couple of Thursdays because I kind of hate myself, but also because I'm really excited.
Yeah.
For a Blade's Will, and when I say a Blade's Will, I mean all of them, as in like both Heaven and Steel. So,
As in,
be excited.
if
be
you
prepped.
weren't, to clarify for those who aren't aware, are normally about bi and or tri-weekly back and forth two campaigns, a Blade's Will Heaven and a Blade's Will Steel, will run a marathon through the month of December. Meaning, this coming Thursday, the next Thursday, and probably the Thursday after that, you will catch back to back to back a Blade's Will sessions. Heaven will be up next, as it is their turn, and Steel will be not far behind. If you are watching this and you are in our Discord and you are looking to join, reach out to me if you have already expressed interest in joining the campaign, even if I have not assigned you a session, be on the lookout because you might be added to the group chats and things some point this week. So be prepared for that. Otherwise, yeah, that's that. Anything else for you, Michelle?
Nah, that's it.
Fair enough. Passing it over to Lucian.
Hi, I'm Lucian. I played Our Boy Play today.
Our boy.
You can find me here,
That's true.
and that's it.
That's true.
Sometimes in the Discord as well, but mostly just here every once in a while. And yeah, besides that, today's been a lot of fun. You know, threw some javelins, some of the Molten Herald, just the usual play things.
Just usual ploy things. Well, fair enough.
Boys will be poised.
I guess we pass it off to Zanari next.
All right, hey everybody, it's me, Zor'aa. You know,
We do know.
tonight you do know. Tonight I
If you
played
don't know,
Z.
now you know.
Now you know. If you know, you know.
You know.
I played Z,
You
Mercenary, our Clash Tower, College of Spirits Bard. In terms of where you can find me, you can find me on all of the social medias, Twitch, Twitter, like all the places, at Zor'aa. In terms of other like TTRPG stuff I do some stuff over TPK Roleplay. We're having our module week this week, so you're gonna find me on Tuesday and Thursday for Oathsworn and Tyranny of Dragons respectively. And that's pretty much all I got going on right now in terms of TTRPG space, but I have some fun stuff coming up for next year, so get
Lots of fun
ready.
things.
This was a really fun session. I like when we get like some like down like in it combat. It's a fun. So I had a good time.
Well, listen, the next session and/or two will probably be almost entirely combat, so be prepared for that.
Yeah.
With that, we move on to the last of our cast. Go ahead, Tate.
Everybody, my name is Tate Washburn. I have been playing Wolf, the shifter beast barbarian who just has as much. He's just happy to be here. He's the werewolf boyfriend that everyone loves and wants. Yep, the most. Just so much.
So much.
Yeah. I mean, Wolf didn't roll super well. But I got to pull off some cool stuff. That was fun, and I'm excited to fight a whole ass god beast. Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
You can find me here. You can find me at my Twitter at kinda_writing. But what you really should do is follow this channel's Twitter account, which I'm sure has been up here a few times, but is at Neon Lights Roleplay.
Yep.
Or you can find me on the Discord, where I generally post dumb, funny memes or screenshots of the fact that Twitch keeps on telling me welcome to the chat. Over and over and over and over. Yeah, welcome to the chat room constantly. Oh man.
That's a raid message. By the way.
Yes, our raid message.
Yep.
Welcome to the chat room.
Raid message. We'll remind you in a second. But also, yeah, I am on this show, obviously, and announcing for the first time is on the 12th, I believe, is that Sunday? The 12th is when I am running my new campaign, the Violet Sea, using a tabletop system that I made myself, and I'm deeply nervous, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
So remember how it says
Several of the people here are on that game.
Yep.
Most of them, actually.
Actually,
Yeah.
all but one of us, yeah. So there's that. And I guess I'll bring it home then. So, folks, if you don't know who I am by now, I'm Young Foxxii, aka Big Foxxii, also known as your current and only favorite fox. I can be found on Twitter sphere at Big Foxxii, that's BIG_FOXXII. I dunk on right-wingers, I slay fascists, I have a great time doing it, and you can come along for that. If you want to know where you're going to see me at next, the next place you'll see me on stream is Wednesday, actually, over on TPK Roleplay, for the conclusion of this sort of three-part separated one-shot into combined one-shot, led by Osera X Franco and Dat Magic Juice, two incredibly awesome storytellers. I'll be reprising my role as Dre, the Circle of the Moon druid. Hopefully I'll actually use my wild shapes in combat this time. But beyond that, other than that, you'll see me around in some other places. I might be showing up on Penny for a Tale sometime soon for some things. Don't worry about that. And also the other consistent campaign that I'm in over on TPK Roleplay is returning next year after the break, after the new year. So if you're missing Cold Hands, Warm Hearts, don't worry. We miss you all too, and we'll be back soon.
I miss it so much.
Yeah, I know. I miss it so much. I miss being a big fun robot. I miss being a big dumb I miss being a big dumb Gundam. It's great. Okay? But outside of that,
Dum dum.
yeah, dumb. But outside of that, yeah, like Tate mentioned, you're gonna see his campaign up in Violet Sea. Like he said, plenty of the people here, including yours truly, are in that. So when I said I was only a player in one Persistent Neon Lights campaign, that's changing soon. Other than that, my next campaign, After the End, launches very soon, December 15th. I have just the best cast possible for that. It's going to be amazing. So please stay tuned and be ready for that to happen. It's going to be awesome. Looking beyond that, a lot of other stuff in the pipeline for me. Things here, things happening. We talk about it a lot, even though it's been not been much actual movement on it. Core Hearts is in full fucking swing. We are officially encroaching into like the end game of our campaign. So we're recording all those episodes for you all so you can get them edited and out to you guys as a series. Other than that, I have so many thoughts and ideas for what Neon Lights looks like coming forward. December will probably be a lot of resetting and changing and getting ourselves right, but come the new year, expect some incredibly awesome things from us. And thank you all for being along for this ride. This is my last day of fall break before I go back to my job, which, not to get too personal, but it's been causing me a lot of stress and a lot of issue. But I feel rejuvenated. I feel happy and I feel great, and this campaign is a lot of the reason why I feel that way. So thank you guys, my players, for making me feel this way every 2 weeks. Thank you, the audience, for coming along while we tell this great story that evolves so far beyond what I imagine it every single session. Our rate for tonight's going to go ahead and be Nat 20. Their session of Morningstar is not happening. Instead, they are having a special D&D one-shot GM by the incomparable Osera X Franco. They've got some awesome players there who you definitely want to see hanging out, and so we're going to go ahead and throw them some love. Thank you guys for coming to Neon Lights Roleplay. Please hop in Discord, follow us here on Twitch and Twitter, come hang out, sign up to be a player, join campaigns with us, and otherwise just be cool. We are going to get on out of here, throw our love over to Nat 20. If y'all need anything from us, you know where to find us. This has been the Seven Sons. We have been Neon Lights Roleplay. We love you all very much, and please welcome Nat 20 to the chat room.
The chat room.
Welcome to the chat room.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Oh man. And
Welcome to the chat
Welcome
room.
to the chat room.
killing me. That's